might as well get this sort of rolling. This is an impromptu live stream, so not advertised. So whenever people come rolling in, say hi, whatever. Um, this is in lieu of my proper monthly live stream, which I have been way too busy to do. In fact, I have had what three days off in a row already, which is like I didn't know what to do with myself actually because I've been working like every day, every week, for the past month here. Way too busy to put out a lot of content. Just those little off the cuff videos that I've been doing, um, and way too busy to pay attention to live streams. This month was supposed to be a live stream themed to EC Comics, like Tales from the Crypt, Haunt of Fear, Weird Science, all those ones. But again, just way too busy to actually pay attention to doing it well. So no live stream there. So instead, just got the off the cuff Godzilla Battle Line stream, and nobody's here, and that's okay. Um, but I'm going to begin because today was like the day of all like toy shows in my city, and thankfully I had it off, so I was actually able to go and uh, spend all of like my tip money that I've been getting doing my tours and my wheeling and dealing on Facebook Marketplace, and go nuts buying some toys and things. And so I thought I would save it up to unbox it here. All of these are like 80s retro toys, which is not at all this channel's brand. This channel's brand is like vintage stuff, 1930s horror, Universal Monsters right there, or like kaiju, like Showa era kaiju, that kind of thing. Got my Transformers down there, my itty bitty Transformers. Um, but yeah, 80s retro, not really my channel's thing. And I think the last video I really did on that was my Sergeant Slaughter GI Joe Classified thing, which got like 5 views. Um, that's okay, whatever. Um, but I would thought, why not save it up? And so first up here, I got Stinkor, Masters of the Universe, who was like my favorite of Skeletor's minions. So He-Man. I grew up with He-Man, of course. Like I've mentioned before, if it had a cartoon in the '80s, I watched it. But I had some ones that were like the big ones. Like Transformers was the big one. GI Joe, Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, Real Ghostbusters. Those were sort of my big ones. But He-Man was weird because I never really had like He-Man toys per se. I think I had like a Battle Armor He-Man and like a Headless Cobra Khan were like the only He-Man toys I had as a kid. But I loved the cartoon and the magazine, like the classic magazine with the Earl Norm illustrations, paintings, things like that. Um, Religiously followed all that stuff. Um, I didn't actually get like a proper like He-Man and Skeletor toy until 2002 with the 2002 version of the cartoon, which I love, and to this day I think is still the best version of He-Man and my favorite version. I think like the archetype of how to redo an old franchise properly, um, like super respectful to the source material, but updating it stylistically, giving it more of a cohesive story, that kind of thing, including giving a story to my man Stinkor, who actually because of that series became like my favorite of Skeletor's henchmen. Because his origin story is wild in the 2002 cartoon. Um, to the ending, once he gets mutated into being Stinkor, and he announces his name as like, call me Stinkor, and Skeletor just starts laughing hysterically, and that's the end of the episode. Like, oh my god, this is so weird. I love this. So Stinkor instantly became like my favorite of Skeletor's minions. And so I thought, okay, I got this guy for cheap. Everything that I bought today was under $20. All of it paid out of my like tip money, stuff like that, and Facebook wheeling and dealing, as I said. And thought, you know what, sure, because I already did get. Ooh, sorry for all the noise. I already did get the Masterverse He-Man and Skeletor figures. So here's, yeah, Masterverse Skeletor, hooray, and Masterverse He-Man with the bottle of liquor there. If you know, you know. So I still love the 2002 designs the most. In fact, I was kind of like, should I bother getting like Masterverse figures of the main two, or should I just try and seek out the 2002 versions? Because those are my favorite versions of the characters. I thought, I could get them for cheap, under $20, by a dude that I know on Facebook Marketplace for these ones. Thought, sure. So I picked up, yeah, the Masterverse He-Man, Masterverse Skeletor, and I originally I was going to be content with just like, okay, that's it. I'm just going to collect like the big two guys, the hero, the villain. There we go. But then uh, can't can't pass up Stinkor. Doesn't smell though. That is an oversight. Stinkor really ought to smell. that is that is his whole jam. That is what he does. But we're going to replace this head with his gas masked head right there, which I think is a little bit cooler. There we go. Looking nice. And he comes with a shield, but no weapon. Really? No weapon. Well, I guess his stench is his weapon, right? So, there we go. Oh, let's put that on the proper way. There we go. Get his shield in there. There we go. And we've got a fist. And he's got this hand, which I feel like, okay, shield other hand then. Yeah, actually, I just watched this video, like, no, that was the... Okay. I just watched this video the other day where dude was, like, crapping on Stinkor. And is like, well, he's okay, but once the smell goes, what's left? I'm like, well, okay, granted. The smell is the best part about him. But, he's, I'm not sure about that. He's got, like, a little bit wilder eyes without the mask, but he looks cooler with the mask. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Oh, and you can, like, take off his thing there with his gas tanks. Cool. Anyways, so Stinkor, there. Skeletor's got a minion now. I'm also actually the same guy I bought He-Man and Skeletor off of. He also has the Masterverse Battle Cat for pretty cheap. So I'm tempted, half tempted, to also buy Battle Cat. So then we have He-Man on Battle Cat, we have Skeletor, we have Stinkor, and then I can make like a cool sort of fun base for them to make them look really slick. Because I enjoy like making bases and things. Actually, I made one for the like a cliff to put Skull Mountain on there for my Kongs, but I didn't do a video about it because nobody cares. Is there even anybody here? No, just me still. Okay. This might as well just been a video. Next up, found this guy, the Hulkster, for $10 at Walmart. And I thought, for $10, I'm not going to pass up getting a figure of Hulkster who can hang out with Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter Classified, G.I. Joe Classified figure. Now, I know that Hulk Hogan is an unsavory character in many ways. Controversially caught on film using spicy racist slang. And I know that he just appeared, oh my god, at the RNC promoting Donald Trump. And I know that he certainly manipulated the wrestling business in ways that benefited himself and nobody else. I am well aware of all that, but I don't care. Because Hulk Hogan was a live-action cartoon character when I was a kid. And I can separate the character of Hulk Hogan from the... Now you get to watch my unsafe knife habits. I can separate the character of Hulk Hogan from the person of Terry Bollea. And, yeah. So that's that. And for $10, I will take... I will grab a Hulk Hogan... Apparently the motorcycle falls apart. I will grab a Hulk Hogan toy for $10. No problem. Except he's stuck to the motorcycle now. And here's another thing, actually. I'm half tempted. Like, granted, I just bought Skeletor and Stinkor. Skeletor a few months ago. Month ago? Month and a half ago? Something like that. Just bought Skeletor relatively recently, and then just bought Stinkor today. But it would be kind of funny to have Hulk Hogan on one side, riding his motorcycle here, and hopefully I didn't just cut Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan on one side, and riding his motorcycle, and He-Man on Battle Cat on the other side, and just like Hulkster versus He-Man of who is the most powerful man in the universe. Because we got Hulk here with his... well, they were 24-inch pythons. They got downgraded to 23-inch as he got older. But, yeah, there we go. So this Hulk here is going to go, yeah, alongside Sergeant Slaughter, being the Hulkster. Saying your prayers, eating your vitamins, doing the demandments. Oh, he is stiff, which is a commentary that others have made as well. But yeah, cool. There we go. Hulkster on his motorbike. I don't know if I have room for the motorbike. Might have to. Yeah, let's put that kickstand back up there. You might have to go without the motorbike to fit on my shelf, but there we go. Hulkster can go over there. Oh, he comes with a little bag of tricks too. What's in the bag? The bag comes with instructions and like a Lobo chain with a hook on it. Hulk Hogan has famous chain that he used as a weapon. All right, that's the Hulk Hogan, Stinkor. What else do I got? Then comes the Transformers that I picked up, which is actually the second round of me owning these specific Transformers, because I love the movie. Transformers the movie is like my thing. And I started collecting them over COVID. And I got a particular thing for modern versions of the original movie characters. So 1986 movie. Redone in more modern style, and ideally looking like looking more like actual vehicles as opposed to like Cybertronian vehicles. And then the core class figures came out, and I decided that I was going to commit myself to collecting core class because they are a good size. Here they are down there. It's hard to see them, but they're a good size. They're relatively inexpensive. They don't take up a bunch of room, so I can fit a lot of them on a shelf and get a whole collection. And so I ended up getting rid of the Chug Transformers, thinking, you know what? No, I'm going to commit myself to core class. And I've been regretting it ever since. Ever since I got rid of them. And every time I see like some of my favorite ones of those Chug movie characters, and God, I wish I didn't get rid of them. And then today at this toy show, somebody had them on sale for like they had like a whole box of like Scourge for like $15. No, $10. $10 a piece. They had Cyclonus for 15. And I was like, you know what? Heck with it. There's no sense in depriving myself of characters that I like just because I like told myself that I committed myself to this one particular type. So collect core class, mind you, but now I just have these other ones and got to find space for them now. But it's also like a case of why deprive myself of something that I like just because it's not officially my collection. So I stopped doing that, and now I got these. But I'm not gonna like go nuts like I kind of did before with like insisting that I have to collect like as many of the movie characters as I can. I'm just gonna stick to ones that I like when I can happen to find them for under $20. So, Cyclonus, hooray! Like the kicking and coolest Decepticon ever. Then I got Scourge. for $10. And a whole box full of Scourges. I could have had like Scourge and the sweeps. I love this version of Scourge. He's like the stealth bomber, the flying wing version of him. Way better than like the weird flying boat version of him. Yeah, this one is such like an awesome version. And it's just got great lines. God, I can remember how to transform this guy. Can I remember how to transform him? Will I break him on camera? Let's find out. Yeah, this is such a great version of this character. And I will probably break him. Because I don't remember how to transform him. The legs are the hard part. How did those go apart? Oh, there we go. Got the legs. There we go. Okay. Like, I love the flying wing version of him, the stealth bomber version of him. And then he's got, like, this great... I guess that goes behind. Maybe? Does it go behind? Or does this spin around? I feel like that should spin around. See, it's been a while since I've owned these guys. How does that go? That's his... Just, you know what? I'm going to have to look up instructions later. But, Scourge again, so Cyclonus and Scourge. Half transform Scourge. Don't have a Galvatron. We'll have to find a Galvatron at some point. And then, like, my favorite version of Cup. So Cup is, he became one of my favorite Transformers. Because he was, like, the first movie character I got as a toy. And as a kid, it's like, well, you have to like Hot Rod, right? Because Hot Rod's like the cool dude. But then I got Cup because he was on sale. My parents were like, no, this one's on sale, so you're going to get this one. All the Transformers are changeable. So I ended up getting Cup. And now he's like one of my favorite Transformers. And in fact, the older I get, the more sense Cup makes. And so, yeah. And then this Cup actually transforms into like a proper pickup truck, not like a weird Cybertronian pickup truck, like an actual, like something that looks like an actual pickup truck. So there we go. Now I have like my favorite toy of Cup with my favorite toy of Scourge and my favorite toy of Cyclonus. And actually, I already have, this guy's been sitting with my core class collection, but I already got this guy, the Wheelie, here for like $3 at a toy show previously. And he actually transforms into like a real like mini car, like looks like a mini, like a Mini Cooper. In fact, let's see if I can do it now. Where's the test of like, can you transform your Transformers? Well, I have a master's degree, so God, I hope so. Except for Scourge, apparently. Yeah, there we go. See, it looks like a little mini sports car. So it's like perfect. I love that. Like the movie characters that look like real vehicles, close enough, as opposed to like Cybertronian sci-fi vehicles. So yeah, Cup that transforms into an actual pickup truck, Wheelie transforms into something that looks like an actual car, and then Scourge, when I figure him out, who looks like an actual stealth bomber, and then this is gonna bug me now. I need to figure this out. And then does that not twist around? It should. Seems like it should. Does that open up? And well, Cyclonus can't help it because Cyclonus just has to look like Cyclonus because the whole forward sweeping wings is what makes him him. Okay, Scourge has to wait. Sorry. Not that it matters, because you're not here to watch me play with toys. You're here to watch me play Godzilla Battle Line. So, let's get on that. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with these guys. I have to figure out where to put these Transformers now. I'm thinking one of the upper shelves that are out of camera view will become like my 80s retro shelf. I also have the Optimus Prime, the new one coming out, the relatively inexpensive one that looks like the original G1 Optimus Prime, like the original toy Optimus Prime, but with modern articulation. Not the super expensive one. I passed on that one because it was expensive. But the cheap version coming out. I got him coming as well because I kind of love those like the toy. Even though when I was a kid, I would have preferred if he looked like a cartoon. So anyways, okay, so that is that. Just gonna, okay. Is there anybody? Nope, nobody's watching this. Okay, whatever. Me and my sad little thing here. So let's flip to that and start with the actual battle line part of things. There we go. Get rid of extra windows. Keep popping up. Okay. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. Oh, can't do that yet. Now, I actually have not played Battle Line since, like, forever. Oh, hey! Hi, William! The Toho Kong back there. Yes. Up there, right? Yeah, this is my Japan shelf. It is, oh, I gotta download game data. It's also overlapping with Monsterverse a little bit. But, yeah, that's the Raymond Toys Kong up there. Here, while we're waiting for that, let me put that window back up. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, that's the Raymond Toys Kong. I've got Raymond Toys Mechanikongs there. I've got a Bondi Mechanicong hiding behind the Bondi Gorosaurus there. These are the Kiko, Son of Kong plushes, and Sega Claw Machine plushes for Kong. And I've got a few more things coming, actually. I've got a shipment from Bai on the way. Shipment from Japan. Might be another, like, month or so. Oh no. Thrilling, unprecedented battle. Results announcement. Oh yeah, because I haven't played in a while. So, yeah, I've got another shipment from Japan that's sitting in the warehouse right now. I have to pull the trigger on actually getting it here. But it will include some more Japanese Kong stuff. Another plush, another Sega plush. A bunch of the Konami, like, blind box figures. Got a bunch of those. And, okay, alright. Fragment, cool. Yeah, some Konami blind box figures, and a few other things. As well as Mothra, as well, that I spent probably too much money on. We got, ooh, Mechagodzilla, and Void Ghidorah, my favorite version of Ghidorah. Nice. Okay. Close. This is giving me like a month's worth of updates. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, William. Yeah, my collection is like 75% 1933 Kong and related retro stuff. 20% Japanese Kong and like 10% Monsterverse. Okay. Are we good? Alright, now I need to fix the volume here. Because audio... Oh, no, it's as low as it gets. Okay. That means I just turn it down on my actual computer, so it's not deafening me. Yeah. Because, yeah, there you go. Kong's everywhere. Yeah, I think I've got, for Monsterverse, all I really have is like a couple Scar King things and the Haya Skull Island Kong figure. And when Haya comes out with a Scar King, I'll get that as well. And then probably get rid of the Playmates one after that. Because it has served its usefulness then, as a playsetter in my collection. And the Japanese stuff, it just sort of depends. For Japanese stuff, it's mostly like the bad guys. So like Mechanicong and Gorosaurus and stuff like that, which I mostly have. What I have is I'm content with. But, yeah, if like Bondi came out with like a new Mechanicong, I might get it. I don't know. But for Kong himself, it's like 99%, like 1933 is my man, my Kong. All right, God, it's been forever since I've been on here. Okay, collect rewards. This is what I get just for logging in today. At some point, maybe after I get this new shipment from Bai, from Japan, I will do an actual collection tour. Because it's been a while, so I've done a collection overview of my Kong stuff. So I might do an ASMR Kong collection video. We'll see. Yeah, I think you just... Yeah, I have that. The McFarlane Kong is back right up there. Which you can't see. So, let me just... Boom, boom. Right behind there. Right behind... This is the NECA Concrete Jungle one, but the McFarlane one is right behind him there. I have to make choices about what's visible on camera. So... and that one I found locally. Actually, somebody was selling it on Facebook Marketplace for $75, which was less than its original price. So I will accept that. And I actually it's McFarlane, so it's essentially old McFarlane, so it's essentially just like a statue. But it's a good looking figure. It's a good sculpt. I do like it, and it's a rare thing as well. You don't see a lot of Kong. I'm at the point now where I don't really just want a figure of Kong. I want Kong that's representing a moment in the movies, right? And yeah, the McFarlane Kong is Kong on the crucifix, basically. Kong dying for our sins. That's a moment in the movie that I don't otherwise have representation of, right? So, it's what I liked about the NECA figures with the accessories. Concrete Jungle Kong comes with the planes, the Skull Island Kong comes with the pterodactyl. So it's that those moments in the movies, right? The X Plus figures, that's just sort of they're just sort of generically Kong, 1933 Kong. The the X Plus T-Rex is T-Rex. That's another thing I want too, is dinosaurs. I want more the dinosaurs. I want more Fay Ray. Because, favorite Kong wrecking the train. Yes! Yes. There's that model kit. It's an old one, and it would cost hundreds of dollars now. But there's a model kit of Kong, smashing up through the train lines, the train tracks. There's a model kit of that, but no figure as yet, and I haven't really got into the model building. I apparently am capable of it, as people who have seen my work are telling me. That I haven't in the video yet. I would want to do a video right up there. I've got my this. It's cold. Ooh, burning Godzilla. My Forgotten Prisoner of Castle Mare. Mare. And when I've been showing pictures of it, people have said that that's good. My my Aurora Kong in black and white is good. My Zorro done as a bronze statue is good, according to other people. So it's maybe I should get into model building. I might actually be okay at it. But ooh, GMK. But model kits are also expensive, so haven't got into those as much. Just the Aurora ones, because there's history behind them. I also have the Dark Horse. Ooh, -1, or is that -1, or is that the ride? Because they're virtually identical. It's -1. Cool. Yeah, right in there. Let me pull that up again. Get rid of that window. Bring up that one. Right in there is the what is it? It's the porcelain, cold glass porcelain. It's a Randy Bowen. It's one of 500 pre-painted statues of Kong over top of the Tyrannosaurus. I feel like I need to get the camera over there so you can actually see it. But yeah, but I got it. It's pre-painted, so it is what it is. That, and I got the Aurora. There's the Aurora Kong, and there's the Thronester right down there, is beside it, which I've done videos about. Um, so, but other model kits I haven't really got into. If I was going to get one more model kit, it would be the Randy Bowen Dark Horse vinyl one from like 1992 or 3, because I remember seeing ads for that in like the Dark Horse comics at the time, which were like Star Wars and Aliens comics. Um, and I wasn't into Kong at the time. Thought that's actually, I really like the painting it was based on. So if I was gonna try and get another model kit, it would be that one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hard to get out of room as it is. My Kong collection is almost full. I can't get more. Really, little things are fine, but can't really get more. Is that the ride version? Godzilla the Ride! Yes. Nice. Which, hopefully, we go to Japan in the next year or two. I'll be able to ride that. Shit. Casimir, is that French? It's probably... I mean, the story was written by Forrest Ackerman. It's Warren Magazines. So it's probably like a pseudo-French. The Casimare. Could be pseudo-Italian as well. It's Romance language. I think Casimare is an original Aurora character like a witch. Kind of. So Aurora, they advertised the monster model kits in Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine. And it was a great partnership, and you can go back and look at like old back issues of Famous Monsters on like archive.org and see like they ran contests or model contests and all these ads for them in every issue and that sort of thing. And they were invited to sort of like collab on something. And so yeah, the Forgotten Prisoner of Castle Mare was developed by Forrest Ackerman, Famous Monsters of Filmland, developed as an original model kit. And then a couple years later, in is it Eerie or Creepy magazine, like their version of Tales from the Crypt, they actually made the story for it, and it's basically like the Cask of Amontillado, Edgar Allan Poe, with a bit of the Black Cat thrown in there. But yeah, basically plagiarized Poe as the story behind the Forgotten Prisoner of Castle Mare. But yeah, it's an original kit developed by Famous Monsters of Filmland for Aurora Plastics for the line. Haven't collected plastic models in years. Yeah, you know what? They're so expensive. Like, I don't blame you. Like I was able to get the Forgotten Prisoner and King Kong stuff for cheap because I had my store for a while there, so I get them like wholesale price. It blew me away when I actually looked at I did the inflation calculator on them. If it was just direct inflation, an Aurora model kit today would cost $8. But if you try and buy one of like Polar Lights or Atlantis models reissues of like Godzilla's Go-Kart or King Kong or whatever, the kits they've reissued, they're like 60, 70, $80 Canadian. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, no wonder nobody's getting into model kits. No wonder kids aren't getting into them. Why it's all old people is that, like, I mean, the kids are into the Gunpla, like Gundam, that sort of thing. But those ones also can be cheap. Like, those ones can be within a kid's price range. But, like, classic monster model kits are, like, 60, 70, $80 Canadian. So, no wonder kids aren't getting into them. They were, like, $8. That'd be a different story. So, yeah. It is what it is. Okay. Explorer. Yeah. It's just, like, the industry like shoots itself in the foot, and I understand if it's a case like, well, we we have to pay for licensing, we have to pay for production, these are small runs, and it's only bought by like collectors. I get all that. I can get why then it would be expensive, but like, if you want kids to buy them, you have to make it affordable for a kid to buy it. That's really what it comes down to, or affordable for the parent who has to pay for it. There's no parent who's going to be like, $80 for a model kit? Sure, Johnny. Plus, keeping in mind, kids today, it's like, the cost-benefit analysis. It's like, I can have a toy that is pre-made. Here's what you guys missed. I just bought Stinkor from He-Man. I can buy a toy that is already made and does all sorts of cool stuff for a third of the price of a model kit. Like, yeah, it's not really a contest. And even then, kids aren't playing with toys anyways, right? Kids are playing with computer stuff. So kids are playing Fortnite and Minecraft. They're not playing with toys. I had a plastic model of a battleship. It was the pride of my collection. Not sure if it was made by Aurora. Yeah, might have been. Aurora used to make model kits about everything. Yeah. In fact, they were latecomers into the... Well, not latecomers, but they were... They came into the monster model kits kind of late. Not relative to other people, but just in terms of, like... They... You know, they had the idea to let's do Frankenstein as a figure kit. And then they were, and the higher ups were like, "Are you kidding me? Who's gonna want something like a Frankenstein monster on their dresser? That's insane. That's disgusting." And then some kids went like insane for it at a toy show, and then they put it into production and sold like a gazillion copies of the Frankenstein model kit, and that's what got them into it. So they kind of like fell into it by accident. But yeah, kids today are lazy. They don't want to build anything. I don't know about that. I think they do. It's just look at what they can afford, right? So, you know, I mean, even Lego is getting really expensive, but Lego's popular enough. And there are other construction toys where sort of like trick out your own Hot Wheels car, or you build your own track, build your own this, build your own that, like customized adaptation. There are toys like that that are popular enough and are like, again, a third of the price of a model kit. So I don't know that kids are lazy necessarily. It's just that model kits are freaking expensive, and there's no sense in pretending they're not. Like, I find them expensive, and I'm a grown adult, let alone a kid who's like $80. Like, that's and given that inflation has not really hit babysitting, so I mean, yeah, it's I don't blame them for not getting involved. And also, like, okay, like Minecraft is all about building stuff. You're just building stuff on a screen, right? And these kids will sit there for hours and build stuff on Minecraft. So it's just a question of what they're building and where they're building it. And again, cost benefit. You know, the cost of a model kit versus what you're getting from it can not necessarily appeal to a child for, you know, how much it costs. Again, if a model kit, like a King Kong model kit, was $8, I think they would be way more popular. But or I made a model kit of the Batmobile, yeah. Yep. Probably Green Hornet as well, yeah. Alright, I should actually play this game. Yeah, I mean, Aurora made everything. I've got, like, the Aurora Zorro kit. I'm pointing up because that's where the box is. Because the box itself is beautiful. The thing about Aurora stuff is that, like, even the boxes are beautiful. Like, they're beautiful works of art in their own right. I would just collect the boxes. But, right, Godzilla, get at him. The boxes themselves are gorgeous. And, yeah, so I keep, like, have the Zorro box up there, but the Zorro himself is actually in the living room, because he looks like a statue, so we keep him in the living room looking awesome. And Black Beauty, yeah, like, they did everything, like Star Trek, Lost in Space, God, you name it, they made it. Oh, hooray! They surrendered! Yes. And a lot of them you can still get as well. Different people own the different molds now, and you can get a lot of those model kits still. Like the Zorro one that I have, I think is an Atlantis reissue. You know, which is what it is, right? Yay! I got 2 gacha tickets. Yeah, you name it, everything. You can actually, probably on archive.org as well. You can look up like old Aurora catalogs. I think I found them on there when I was looking for what was I looking for? Oh yeah, there's actually a book on Aurora model kits, the monster model kits, and like a price guide / history book. I was trying to find it, so I was also looking up. So I want to do a video on um, the Forgotten Prisoner that I did, which was like a year ago when I actually made that kit. But I didn't. There was a controversy around the Forgotten Prisoner that I don't know that much about. I just know that it happened. So I want to do some more research before I try to do a video about it. Oh, I know, Shinden, get out of my face. There we go. Did they make a line based on 1 million BC? I don't know if they made one specifically on 1 million BC, but they did have a prehistoric line. They had like a T-Rex, Triceratops, saber-toothed cat, woolly mammoth. Pretty sure it was a woolly mammoth in there. Yeah, sort of your typical prehistoric monsters that were famous in like the 60s. Had a lot of those. Yeah, the prehistoric scenes. That's the one. Yeah. Prehistoric scenes. They also did wildlife ones. And at a local antique mall, I actually saw the wildlife buffalo one. I was tempted to get it. And paint it up like a bronze sculpture as well, but didn't do that because I don't have space for everything that I want. In fact, I'm out of space for Kongs as it is. That next batch of stuff I'm going to get from I'm Dead. Oh no, Mothra! Stop, Mothra Leo. Oh, finally, there we go. Oh no, get in there. I am doomed. This is it. It's over. Doomed. There we go. Yeah, I don't have room for everything that I want. There's lots that I want. Lots that I would love to have. But lots I don't have space for. I'm almost out of room for Kong. I can make more room for Kong if need be, and condense a lot more than I have. But, you know, it's actually good to run out of room. Because then it's like, wait, can't buy anymore. Oh well. There's only a few things in my Kong collection I'm really super keen to like look for right now anyways. So. Had the rhino Woolly Rhino trapped in tar pit. Nice. Which is funny because woolly rhinos didn't live in North America. So, but everyone just looks at like the, you know, looks in the old books of prehistoric animals, whatever. Like, okay, I don't know if you guys know this. I've literally written a book about the Ice Age. It's titled The Ice Age in Western Canada. You can buy it on Amazon by C.W. Gross. And, yeah, when I was doing the research for it, we went to this fairly well-known place in Western Canada. And they had a little museum in their interpretive center. And they talk about the Ice Age in there. And the pictures they showed were of a woolly rhino and the giant armadillo. And neither of which lived not only in our province, but even in our continent. Woolly rhinos did not leave Asia, Eurasia, and giant armadillos were like, well, I guess southern United States, like Florida, and like Central and South America. So just, yeah. It's, when you know a lot, it's frustrating. So, yeah, the woolly rhino in the tar pit is awesome, even though it's not at all accurate. Yeah, I loved it, so much detail, yeah. I mean, they're fun model kits. They are retro, which I enjoy. Like, the Buffalo one that they have, it wasn't, like, I wouldn't consider it, like, the best, like, most detailed, realistic model kit, but it had this fun retro vibe to it that I really appreciate. I remember they also had a line based on Vampirella. Yeah, Vampirella. Yeah, that was the monster scenes. So when the monster kits, the classic monster kits. So there was the first run of the monster kits. Then they had the dragsters, like King Kong's Thronester, Dracula's dragster, those ones. And then they did the glow heads, the ones with the glow powers. And And then they did these smaller scale ones, monster scenes, that were more gory, and they had like the torture chamber and the giant bug and the victim, and Vampirella was part of that line. This guy's gonna kick my ass. No. Oh no. No. No, you lied. This was not a great battle. I did terribly. This sucks. This battle sucked. Yeah, the those monster scenes were the second line, and I'm half tempted actually to get some of those like accessory packs of the monster scenes, because like they have like the Strickfade machines and stuff, like the evil scientist's equipment. That actually would work well with like the NECA figures, like that. It's about the same scale ish. So I'm tempted to get some of those when I have more room. Because right now I'm like practically out of room for my NECA figures as well. Everything I learned about anatomy, I learned from Vampirella. Hello, Glitch is my name. A Godzilla is my game. Hello, Glitch. Glad to see you here. I remember one Godzilla kit from Aurora. Yeah, Aurora did. Well, they did the one main Godzilla kit, which is based on 1962. They did the Godzilla's go-kart, and then that was pulled because Toho felt that it dishonored Godzilla to have the go-kart, the Godzilla dragster, which is like, Toho, did you watch your own movies during the 60s? So that was a bit of a weird one. And then I'm not sure if it was Aurora or if it was another company. I'm pretty sure it was Aurora that did like all of the kaijus. There was like Godzilla and Rodan and Ghidorah. I'm pretty sure that was Aurora, but I could be wrong. A big Godzilla fan. Nice. I might go to G-Fest next year. That's awesome. If you can go to G-Fest, that's great. My wife and I are actually thinking about going to if the finances hold out. I gotta stop buying toys and shit. But if the finances are good, then my wife and I have been talking about possibly going to Japan. And if we do, then it would be for November. So we could hit Godzilla Day in Tokyo, which is the 70th birthday of Godzilla. Hit Godzilla Day in Tokyo, like this November, would be awesome. So, we'll see. We'll see if the finances are there, and if they are, then I will certainly make a video of it all. No question there. Yeah, they made Godzilla and Kong. They made a classic Kong. Yeah, I have the Kong. They're not the same scale, of course, because their Kong is definitely like 1933 sized Kong, holding Fei Ray. I have it down in the corner down there, which you can't really see. Come on. Get in there. But yeah, it's kind of fun that they released both Godzilla and the Kong models at the same time, and their Godzilla is based on the 1962 King Kong versus Godzilla. And what's Godzilla Day? Okay, so in Japan on November 3rd, Toho, they have this big event in Hibiya Square. So Hibiya Square is near the Imperial Palace in Tokyo, and that's where Toho has their headquarters and their main movie theater in Tokyo. Because in Japan, it's a little bit different from the United States. In Japan, the movie studios still own their own movie theaters. So there's like Toho movie theaters, and that's where you go to see Toho movies. So Hibiya Square, they have their headquarters, they have a movie theater, and they also have a statue of Godzilla. And the last time I went to Japan was 2009. So the statue they had of Godzilla there it was just like a little bronze statue. It was like yay big. Like, it wasn't very big. It was Heisei Godzilla. But now they've actually replaced that with a bigger statue of Shin Godzilla. And in this square, they have this big annual event every November 3rd. And you can look it up. Look it up on like YouTube. It's Godzilla Day or G-Fest. Fest with no T. And they have like a lot of like press conference sort of announcements of things. They show these little short movies they make every year. So these animated movies they make every year, and these pseudomation movies they make every year. They have product unveilings. They have like panels with like this past one last November. It was with the cast of Godzilla -1. They also have like a lot of exhibits and things. So an exhibit that I would love to see is actually of the puppets from Godzilla. And if you don't know what Godzilla is, Google Godzilla, because Godzilla is amazing. Godzilla is like the best online show. But the puppets from Godzilla, they also have like the characters. So like they actually have they put people in the suits, and then they have like a meet and greet. So you can like meet and greet like Jet Jaguar and meet and greet Godzilla, like somebody in the Godzilla suit. So yeah, it's every November 3rd in Tokyo at Hibiya Square. It's the big Japanese event. And so if the money is there, to go to Japan this year and go for November 3rd, get there in time, go for Godzilla Day. That would be awesome to do that. And then, we'd see like stuff from Japan, like actual Japanese culture, but also the Godzilla ride at the Seibu-en amusement park outside of Tokyo, and the Godzilla ride at Awaji Island. Neither of those existed the last time I was in Japan. The last time I was in Japan was 2009. So I haven't ridden either of those Godzilla rides. So that would definitely be on the list of things to do. As well as like Tokyo Disney, the new Ghibli park. Maybe I want to, but it's also like kind of out of the way, and it would kind of mess around with the plans. It would mess around with a smooth itinerary, put it that way. But Tokyo, Kyoto, I want to spend more time in Kyoto. Because last time I only spent like 3 days in Kyoto. And Kyoto's a beautiful city. So I would love to spend more time there. Yeah. Sorry, what I said. What's Godzilla Day? They should have made Son of Godzilla. Wow. Son of Godzilla. No, never bring back Manila. Yeah. Have that rare Godzilla PS4 game. Cool. It's 22 kaiju. Nice. Coincidentally, they made a figure Giant Mantis, very similar to Kamacuras. Yeah. Well, I mean, Giant Mantis makes me think of the Deadly Mantis, Universal Studios movie. Can I friend you? I have Godzilla Battle Line. Sure. Yeah. If you want to friend me, go for it. Yeah, that's my username there. That's this King Kong in Japanese. Speaking of Manila, hold on a sec. I told God I'm wearing trousers. Okay, Manila. There you go. So that's from Godzilla. I also have these are my upper shelves. You can't see. Little. And Godzilla himself, the 3 Godzilla brothers from Godzilla, and Radon in an egg from Godzilla. So, there we go. That's the only Manila I ever will own, is Godzilla Manila. There we go. We all enjoyed looking at my butt there for a second. Yeah, I assume you're talking about Godzilla Day. Yeah, it looks like it's fun. I mean, it looks like it's mostly like sort of corporate events. It's not like a convention in the same sense of like G-Fest in the US. But that's okay, because I'm not really like a big convention guy. They're interesting enough, but I wouldn't really fly to one. But I would fly to G-Fest because it's like the official thing, and you see the costumes, you see the puppets, all that sort of fun stuff. What's your favorite Godzilla? I actually have a video about this. My top 5 favorite Godzillas. So, my favorite Godzilla is Shin Godzilla. I think the design is incredible. The movie is incredible. As a movie, I would put Shin Godzilla just below the original Godzilla in 1954, Gojira. Um, just because I think the original Gojira is just that notch better. But I mean, Shin Gojira is incredible, and that design of Godzilla is incredible. Like, it's the only time I've been terrified of Godzilla is Shin Gojira. He looks amazing. He looks like this terrifying, horrible monstrosity that shouldn't exist. Whose just life is suffering, and he wants to make everything else suffer as well. Except not like intentionally. It's just like he's just this blind force of destruction, like a tsunami, right? Yeah, Shin Gojira is my favorite Godzilla. Favorite Godzilla version of Godzilla, as well as my second favorite Godzilla movie. After Shin, I would say 54 would be my favorite, because that's the original, right? After that, the Ride version / -1, which is basically the same version. Like, -1 is the Ride version as well. The Ride being the Seibuen amusement park version. Those would be my favorite Godzillas. And then Little. Little's awesome. What was my fifth favorite one? I remember from my video. I think it's Godzilla Rex. So, like, the, No, because Godzilla Rex is Little. Right, he was sort of factored in with Little. Because Little grown up. Because the Godzilla Rex, that's just Heisei... Godzilla Jr. from Heisei grown up. Oh, sorry, I was just playing with Cyclonus here. Another new toy I bought today. Oh, shoot, what was my fifth favorite Godzilla? Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, my top favorites are Shin 54, Ride / -1, and Little. Both Little and Big. Yeah, well, top 4 at least. Yeah. What is? There you go. Oh, Expose, welcome. Like 3 weeks ago, I was able to watch Young Frankenstein in the movie theater. Nice. It was awesome. I won a trivia game before the film started, and I got a figure of Frankenstein Monster. That's awesome. Way to go. Congratulations. I very much enjoy Young Frankenstein, and it ruined Son of Frankenstein for me. Because I actually saw Young Frankenstein before I ever saw Son of Frankenstein. And as a result, when I finally saw Son of Frankenstein, I was dying laughing. Because suddenly all these jokes in Young Frankenstein, I finally understood. Like the police inspector, that's from Son of Frankenstein. I didn't get the joke until I saw Son of Frankenstein finally. I didn't like the one where they hardly showed Godzilla and they killed off Bryan Cranston. Oh my god. Godzilla 2014. That is the one you're talking about. And I hate that movie. That is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It made me angry at how it kept avoiding anything interesting. Luckily I did not see that one in the theater because I was still burned from 98. If I had seen 2014 first, I would not have seen the other MonsterVerse films. I would have just, like, forget it. Come on. Oh, yes. Luckily, I saw King of the Monsters first. That was my first MonsterVerse. No, I saw Skull Island, because it's like King Kong. Okay, I'll give that a shot. And that was good enough that I saw King of the Monsters. And I think that's the order. Or was it King of the Monsters and then Skull Island? No, it was Skull Island first, then King of the Monsters. Yeah. Saw Skull Island. It was okay. Liked it well enough. So when King of the Monsters came out, I'm like, okay, I'll see that. And that was actually okay. I still think that's actually the best MonsterVerse movie. There was GVK, which was terrible in a different way. And then GXK, which was hilariously awesome, but because it was so bad. It's like, it was bad, but so bad it was good. Where are we at here? That one did take itself very seriously. Yeah. And Dr. Sarazawa was guilt-shaming some general for Hiroshima. Well, Frau Blücher. Yep. How old exactly is Dr. Serizawa if he was a kid during Hiroshima? So you agree with Popeye? Yeah. I did not like 2014. No, that is a terrible movie. And I will say for GVK, it did have good action scenes. It's just the movie itself was pretty bad. The characters were pretty bad. It could have been a lot better movie if they had tightened things up. And the culture around it, the like the power scalers, all that dumb BS. Just everyone just like trying to just shit on Kong all the time. Because here's pro tip: there is no such thing as Team Godzilla and Team Kong. There is Team Godzilla and Team I hope this movie is good. Because there is no such thing as a fan of King Kong who is not also a fan of Godzilla. That creature does not exist. Yeah, the whole like petty like Godzilla totally kill Kong was dumb, and I hated it, and it made me not like the movie either. So there we go. Dr. Serizawa is at least 100. Yeah, he was. No wonder he blew himself up there in Hollow Earth, because he was gonna die anyways. He's 1,000,000 years old. Okay, more. Too bad they killed him off in King of the Monsters. Well, I mean, I like Ken Watanabe. He's a brilliant actor. But I liked him already in Memoirs of a Geisha. That's where I first saw him. He's a fantastic actor. It's just, yeah. The 2014, the movie I wanted to see was the one in which Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe team up to try and prove that Godzilla even exists, despite the cover-up from the Japanese government. That is the movie that I want to see. That's not the movie we got. Much to my chagrin. Oh, that's GVK. Or not, GMK. Godzilla. Right, Jet Jaguar. Singular point jet. Meet your end. Wish they had included him in Godzilla -1. You know? I get why you might. But, Godzilla -1 was such a different story. You know? I'm okay with, like, you know, Dr. Serizawa was 1954, and they had this other character entirely that had his name as well in 2014 and King of the Monsters. But it doesn't always have to be Dr. Serizawa. And I'm okay with -1 not having him. I thought the scientist in there was kind of cool, anyways. And it's a different story, right? It wasn't really a story. It wasn't as much a story about the government. Like Godzilla, the original 1954 Gojira, was definitely more a story about the government. I mean, it was these other characters like Dr. Serizawa and Akiko and Dr. Yamane and stuff. But they're sort of attached to the government in their ways. Shin Gojira was very much about the government. The movie was about the government. Whereas -1 was not. And I appreciate that. And it's okay they didn't have a Serizawa character in it. So, yeah. They wasted Bryan Cranston? Yes, absolutely. That's because apparently Kick-Ass was a much more important character. Oh my god. Yeah, that's what makes me so angry about 2014. Is that anytime anything interesting was going to happen, there's going to be an interesting character or an interesting plot development or an interesting monster fight or anything, they just turned away from it back to like boring milquetoast character and his boring milquetoast family. It's like unbelievable that they would waste so much of that movie on such irrelevant characters. And I understand they were like trying to go in for the whole like, oh no, this is like seeing it from just like the human eye level. But the characters were so boring. Like -1 did it from the human eye level and did it fantastically. 2014 did it from the human eye level, and it was just the worst because the characters themselves were boring. There was nothing interesting about them. They could be transplanted from any disaster movie. I like the team ups with King Kong a lot more. Yeah. Well, I felt with GVK, they could have gotten rid of Millie Bobby Brown and her characters entirely. Just kick them out, not in the movie, out of the movie. And then you see the movie entirely from the point of view of like Kong's team and Apex. And I thought if they had made the Apex characters into actual characters and give them actual motivation and not just be like mustache twirling villains, it would have been a lot more interesting. Like the guy who was running Mechagodzilla was Dr. Serizawa's kid. You don't learn that unless you read the novel. So it's like, what's going on there? What's the story there? That would have been a hell of a lot more interesting than Millie Bobby Brown and her conspiracy theorists and stuff. So yeah, if I was redoing GVK, I would get rid of Millie Bobby Brown's team entirely and just have it focus on Apex, the Apex characters, and give them actual motivations, and Kong's team. And then I would have had the fight be more equal as well. Like, I still insist that it was a tie in the same... It was a draw. Like, it ended in a draw. And it was like, oh no, because Godzilla kicked Kong's ass. Yeah, and Ghidorah kicked Godzilla's ass in the last movie, and then Godzilla got better. And exact same story beat. Godzilla kicked Kong's ass, then Kong got better. Excuse me. So, yeah, whatever. The whole debate was dumb anyways. And irksome. Kraven the Hunter. Yeah. Yeah, they're making a Kraven the Hunter movie because Sony is just like, who do we got? We own Spider-Man. So let's make movies of all the Spider-Man characters. In the sort of like secondary MCU. So. Do you ever think they'll use Gamera in the Monsterverse? No. I don't think they will ever use Gamera. I know everybody wants to. That's the big fan service, right? But, I mean, look at what they're doing already, right? What are they doing now? Most of the time, 99% of the time, they're doing Kong. Because they don't have to pay to use Kong. Kong's their public domain character. They own their particular version of it. So they're not, like that new game. Everyone's all mad about that new Kong game because it's not a Godzilla game. Everyone wants Godzilla 24/7. So I don't think they would bring in another character that they have to license and they have to pay to use, which they would with Gamera. I could see them making a giant turtle monster, a turtle titan, that as like an homage to Gamera, but I can't see them using Gamera. And then it would also depend on Toho if like Toho would be okay with including Gamera in this world. Which, granted, I'm playing a game with Gamera in it that Toho made. So it's not totally impossible, but you know, a little app game is different from a full-fledged movie, right? Maybe if the relationship between Toho and Legendary ever soured, and Toho took the ball and ran home with it, and Legendary still wanted to do Monsterverse, then maybe they might go for Gamera as a replacement for Godzilla. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out someday. Toho doesn't own Gamera. Daiei does. But Toho might be like, no, you're not allowed to put Godzilla and Gamera in a movie together. That's what I mean. Is that Toho might say like, no, we don't want Godzilla in a movie with Gamera. God. Nice mention of Michael Jackson there, guys. Did you ever see some of the MST3K episodes about Gamera? I've not seen as much MST3K as maybe I should have. Um, I've seen a few episodes. I've seen the movie. Like that was the only version of This Island Earth that I had for a while. It was MST3K the movie. Um, but no, I've I've tried to watch Gamera, like actual proper Gamera movies, and I just can't get into them. I don't know why. Um, Something about them I just don't get. And I wish I knew what it was, because everybody else loves Gamera, but I just don't get it. Um, but Daimajin, I do. I freaking love Daimajin. Daimajin's great. I love the whole like it's like the perfect combination of like um the tokusatsu kaiju movie and the Jitageki historical dramas. Because yeah, it's like a Jitageki up till like boom, suddenly there's a kaiju. It's awesome. I love the Daimajin movies. I just wish that the home video box set wasn't like friggin' 120 bucks Canadian. Not prepared to spend that much on it. But yeah, I love Daimajin. See, and yeah, Daimajin I love, and also Daiei did the Yokai Monsters series, which I also love. I also think is great. I don't know what it is about Gamera. I just don't get Gamera. This Island Earth is actually a good movie. Yeah, This Island Earth is okay. I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but it's not bad. And that was actually controversial, a controversial point in the fandom, pre-internet, when MST3K the movie came out. Is that a lot of people were like, "Are you serious? Like you're going after This Island Earth like it's a bad movie, and it's not a bad movie. So what's the deal?" And their argument was that to make a movie, they couldn't use a crappy movie because it had to be an entertaining, high quality enough movie itself to sit for audiences to sit there and watch it. So they had to pick a movie that was good enough to be seen on the big screen, but was still bad enough they could make fun of it. And so they picked This Island Earth, much to the chagrin of a lot of like horror movie fans and sci-fi movie fans at the time. So an updated version of Gamera in the 90s. Yes, I've watched the first Heisei Gamera movie as well. Um, and again, I wish I liked it. I wish I could have gotten into it. Just something about it. I don't know what. I didn't get it. Pulgasari was also inspired by that, imagine. Cool. I love This Island Earth. The professional professor from Gilligan's Island was in it. Yeah. This Island Earth it's fine. I sort of half tongue-in-cheek call it the better version of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Because I do not like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think it is a highly overrated movie. And, oh, I'm doomed. This Island Earth is a much better treatment, much more engaging treatment of the subject of sort of the vertigo of the infinite than 2001 is. 2001 is so just overindulgent and empty and meaningless and nihilistic. That's the end of that Slurpee. Thank goodness This Island Earth was never remade. Wasn't remade. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised actually they haven't remade it. One would think that that would be a prime candidate to be remade and have the mutant turned into like some xenomorph kind of thing. But no, they keep going after like we got to remake Dracula, we got to remake friggin' Mummy twice, all that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't trust remakes anyways. Whatever. Pulgasari was made in Korea. Kim Jong-il was one of the producers. Yeah. I've heard of Pulgasari. Never seen it, though. I know This Island Earth's alien designs inspired Mars Attacks Aliens, which the Mars Attacks Aliens are my favorite alien designs. Yeah, the Mars Attacks are great. God, I used to have the Spirit Halloween animatronic Mars Attacks Alien. When I had my store, it was like my store mascot. It was the giant Spirit Halloween animatronic Martian. And there is a company. There's actually two figures coming out. Super 7 is doing an Ultimate Mars Attacks Martian. There's another company, I forget their name, but they're doing a whole line of Mars Attacks figures. So I want to get one of those. If I can get one of those instead of the Super 7, I prefer that. But if I have to just get the Super 7, I will. But yeah, I want a Mars Attacks figure for my shelf of classic horror and stuff. Love Mars Attacks. It's great. Trading cards more than the film. Yes, I agree. The cards are great. The Mars Attacks cards are OG. They are awesome. Also love Dinosaurs Attack. That's when I was a kid, actually. It was Dinosaurs Attack. In the 1980s when they had the anniversary for Mars Attacks. And they made Dinosaurs Attack. That was my jam. But yeah, I've read all the cards. I wish I had a deck of the cards, whether the originals or like a remake, or at least a book that had them all the art in it. I should try and find one. But I have looked at them all on archive.org, which is a gold mine. I've mentioned it several times now. Archive.org, everyone. Famous Monsters of Filmland, Creepy Eerie, War Room Publications, He-Man magazine, Mars Attacks cards. Everything is on archive.org. Yeah, the movie was fun, but it was a little too twee, like Tim Burton quirky. And I thought that diluted it a lot. And too many like celebrity cameos and stuff like that. Like, I thought people described it at the time because he made it after he made Ed Wood. So people were like, "Oh, Mars Attacks is like the movie Ed Wood would have made if he had like modern effects." It's like, okay, but part of the charm of Ed Wood is that he didn't have modern effects. So to throw that in there is a bit, I don't know. I don't think Mars Attacks was one of Tim Burton's better efforts. Let's put it that way. We'll just go with that. Also, Dinosaurs Attack, yeah. Director Paul Gasari was kidnapped and forced to make this movie at gunpoint. Well, needs must. I bet he never did a remake, yeah. I do have a book of all the original Mars Attacks cards, which is also, okay, cool, expose. I have to get that. I have to find that. They take their filmmaking very seriously over there. Tom Jones is in it, yeah, and Godzilla, yeah. In fact, I remember, Godzilla was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I don't think he was in Mars Attacks, unless I don't remember him. But Godzilla and Ghidorah were in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and they got in trouble for that because they didn't license Godzilla and Ghidorah to be in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So they got in trouble for that. But yeah, when Pee-wee is riding through the studio with his bike, getting chased, they go through a soundstage and they're filming a Godzilla movie in it. Oh, actually, let's just do this. Go, Kamakuris! Go get him! I imagine Tim Burton was a Godzilla fan. Tim Burton absolutely is a Godzilla fan. Definitely. He is a monster kid. He is actually of the generation that grew up with Shock Theater and drive-in movies and Famous Monsters of Filmland and all that stuff. Gets his OG goth status from being a monster kid. If you've ever seen Frankenweenie, like the original Frankenweenie, not the CGI movie, or the stop-motion movie or whatever the hell it is, not the remake, but the original like half-hour short with like Shelley Duvall. That is like Tim Burton's autobiography. Is the original Frankenweenie. It's a... Oh no! Oh god! Oh no! It's Void Ghidorah! No! He's gonna suck us all into nihilistic nothingness. No! Who won? Oh god, I won! before Void Ghidorah destroyed us all. Incidentally, Void Ghidorah is my favorite Ghidorah. Void Ghidorah is the first time I've ever been afraid of Ghidorah, and felt like this is what audiences in the 60s must have felt like, seeing Ghidorah like materialize as like this alien menace. Like how they must have felt back then is how I felt when Void Ghidorah emerged in the anime. Void Ghidorah is terrifying. Mars Attacks is a documentary about how the Biden administration would have handled alien invasion. Well, I'm Canadian, so I will stay out of your politics. We'll leave it at that. It is not my business to speak on your politics. Save that for Facebook. See that. Da-da-da. Although, interesting thing about the Mars Attacks movie, though, Red Letter Media did a review of it, which was as generous as it could be. And they actually made this good point and did a demonstration that it actually looks better in black and white. Like, the Tim Burton's Mars Attacks looks like it was supposed to have been in black and white. And then they just added color to it. And a lot of, like, the flatness in it actually looks better in black and white. So that would be an interesting way to watch it, if you can somehow on your TV figure out how to desaturate it or something, and watch it in black and white. It would be an interesting experiment. What's your opinion on Kaiser Ghidorah from Final Wars? I love Kaiser Ghidorah. Kaiser Ghidorah is like my second favorite Ghidorah. Yeah, I find Ghidorah fairly generic. He's not one of my favorite kaiju. So, like, I think just for normal Ghidorah, I think MonsterVerse is fine. Sure. But then it's other versions of Ghidorah that I like. So, like, Des Ghidorah, Kaiser Ghidorah, Void Ghidorah. Those are, like, my favorite Ghidorahs. Because they're interesting and different. And they got something going on with them. They got a different look, different feel. They mean something different. Yeah. So I like those Ghidorahs. And then for like just generic Ghidorah, like, okay, MonsterVerse Ghidorah is fine. Sure, why not? I almost though want to get a Haya Ghidorah figure to go with my Haya MonsterVerse Kong figure to reenact that one Asahai Sonorama poster of King Kong versus Ghidorah. I don't know whether I'd want to get MonsterVerse Ghidorah or whether I'd want to get like their Heisei Ghidorah figure, like their Toho Ghidorah figure. One of the two of them I would want to get. And to just, reenact that Kong versus Ghidorah cover would be kind of hilarious. But it's also a lot of money to spend to reenact a cover from an old, like, record in Japan. So, might not get that. Spend quite that much money on it. What do we got here? He was a tough opponent. He has a cool name. He was the shape changer. Yeah, well, I mean, Monster X is also pretty rad. One of the things I enjoy about Final Wars is that it's like Power Rangers meets The Matrix as a Godzilla movie. So, like, Monster X is, like, totally a Power Rangers villain. Super Sentai villain. But nestled into this Godzilla movie done very much in the style of The Matrix. Like, what is going on? And it's a remake of Destroy All Monsters. It's like, what is going on in this movie? This movie is insane, and I love it. Weakest Ghidorah was in Tokyo SOS. You know, I love Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. I thought it was great. It's like a live-action anime. But, like, Tokyo SOS, I, like, don't even remember. Like, Mothra's in it. That's about all I remember. Like, I don't know why. The sequel wasn't as good. It didn't capture what was, like, super awesome about Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Question: did Godzilla vs. Gigan take place before Destroy All Monsters? Yes. Yeah. The continuity of the Showa era is weird because basically they do a time jump between like Son of Godzilla, which I think is the last Showa one before Destroy All Monsters. They do like a time jump because Destroy All Monsters was meant to be the last Godzilla movie because they were losing money on Godzilla movies. They weren't making money. So they were going to end the series with Destroy All Monsters. It's one big last blowout. And then it made a ton of money. Because it was like, the last Godzilla movie, okay, oh my gosh, we gotta go see it. And it made a ton of money. So then they made All Monsters Attack, which was even like worse. As it's like a clip show. And but, you know, it made enough that they decided, okay, we'll keep going. And then that's where like the 70s movies comes in, right? So like Versus Hedorah, which is great. I love Versus Hedorah. That's another one of my most favorite Showa movies. Like Versus Hedorah and Versus Gigan, Versus Megalon, Versus Mechagodzilla and Terror of Mechagodzilla. But that time jump with Destroy All Monsters is set in the year like 1990X. So if you assume that like Versus Gigan, Versus Hedorah, Versus Mechagodzilla, those are all set in the time they were made, which is the 70s, then yeah, Destroy All Monsters would be after all of those. So in continuity, Destroy All Monsters is after like Terror of Mechagodzilla. Even though it's was made before. Tokyo SOS brought back one of the actors for the original Mothra. Yeah. Hiroshi Kozumi was brought back, playing the same character in SOS. Yeah, I remember that part. See, but I forgot that like Ghidorah's in it. Like, all right, sure. All Monsters Attack is weird because all the Godzilla scenes are in a kid's dream. Yeah, it's like, okay, here's a weird thing. All Monsters Attack is like, as a Godzilla movie, it's kind of bad because of that. Because you know, it's just a clip show, right? But it is like a tribute to Godzilla, right? Because it's like Godzilla is this pop culture character. It's like a movie about Godzilla and about Godzilla fandom and about what Godzilla means to kids. And it's analyzing sort of like post-war Japanese childhood and like latchkey kids and childhood loneliness and bullying and all these sorts of topics. Through this partial lens of Godzilla as the pop cultural icon, Godzilla. So it's an interesting movie in a lot of ways, but it's not a very good movie insofar as it focuses on a kid, which can be annoying, and it's just like a clip show of other Godzilla movies. And you can try and dress that up as much as you would like, as like, well, of course it's a clip show of other Godzilla movies because it's all the Godzilla in this kid's head. And so this kid has watched these other Godzilla movies. So that's what's in his head, are scenes from other Godzilla movies. You can try and dress it up that way, but at the end of the day, it's still just a clip show of Godzilla. So, you know, the whole meta thing is like, okay, but... Varan only showed up in Destroy All Monsters for a few seconds. Correct. Yeah, Varan is in it, but not very much. I really wish that Mezco, before they lost the Godzilla license, had done a third round of Destroy All Monsters, so we could have gotten Kamacuras and Kamibus and Varan. But alas, and Manda. But alas, we never will. That opportunity is past. Is what it is. Serial Monsters predicted video calls. Yeah. Justin's predicted flat screen TVs and treadmills. Jay, get me off this crazy thing. Yeah. We are living the future. You know, people always talk about, like, where's my flying car? Which would be a nightmare. Could you imagine? Like, take drivers and put them in the sky. Like, no thanks. Um, but, you know, we're living in the future. We have tricorders, right? We have Star Trek. In fact, when we had flip phones, when they were still flip phones, that was like the Star Trek communicator, right? We have video calls. We have all these things from the future, just not the flying cars. You could even technically think of a Roomba as like a robot butler, right? Robot maid. We are living in the future. It's just not as mid-century modern Googie style as originally anticipated. Have you ever seen Gamera Super Monsters? It was also a clip show. I have not seen that. Because again, me and Gamera have a strained relationship. Insofar as I wish I liked Gamera, but I don't get it. Unfortunately. There were never any drunk drivers in the Jetsons, yeah. Yep. Could you imagine? Like, legit, could you imagine? Like, okay, like I do, for my job, I do tour guiding professionally. For my job, I do a lot of commuting between my city and the mountains. And, like, every morning, like, friggin' I'm out there at, like, 6 in the morning. And there are, like, dozens of people on the road who are trying to commit vehicular homicide on me. Like, it's just, oh my god. So I do not want to share the sky with those people. Trying to run me into the mountain. I do have a Serial Monsters poster in my room, with the poster for the 1933 King Kong. My favorite film is 33 King Kong, which is how I found your channel. Thank you. 33 King Kong is the Shiznits. I have 2 posters just off camera over here. I think I can show those. Right over there, hiding over here. That was my favorite one. Kong on the Empire State Building, and then I've got this, like, the sort of the standard red and blue one down there. When I can find more Kong posters, I buy them. I don't have Serial Monsters. I wouldn't mind finding the Japanese King Kong poster. Japanese 33 Kong poster. Would be fun. Woo, 39. That'd be fun. I've seen it online, but I don't have a copy of it. I don't have a ton of wall space here. I've kind of been saving wall space for this print that a friend of mine gave me. He did a painting of, like, dogs playing poker, but instead of dogs, it's tikis playing poker. I don't have it framed yet, but I want to, and I have a space for it, like, right up there. So I don't have a ton of space for Kong. But if we do ever end up moving into a bigger place, and we can actually have, like, a tiki room, then we'll have space for that poster, and I will put my Kong collection in the tiki room, and have more wall space for Kong posters there. And then I'll have, like, a separate studio with, like, my other toys and stuff. But that would sort of be the ideal goal if the wife approves of that plan. Maybe they invented cars that... Oh, hold on. Glad solved that problem, but maybe they invented cars that shut down whenever someone gets drunk on board. That would explain it, Popeye. Well, I mean, Jetsons, you would have non-alcoholic alcohol. Would probably be the thing, right? So you have your martini, doesn't get you drunk. That would be the Jetsons style of doing it, I would imagine. Ever seen all the merchandising around the 76 Kong? I have. In fact, I see plenty of... Ooh, I'm playing for an hour. I see plenty of 1976 Kong stuff around my place all the time. Like my city, in antique malls and things like that. I've seen the 76 board game. I've seen various dolls and things like that. When I do searches on, like, Buy and eBay and stuff, I do see 76 Kong stuff, but I don't collect 76 Kong. For me, it's 1933 Kong, and Japanese Kong, and to a much lesser extent, Monsterverse. I would love actually to get um, the King Kong show, the '60s animated show. I've seen on eBay um, like dolls and stuff from that in like pristine condition that are like $1,000. Like I will not buy that. I have limits, and that is a limit. Um, if I could ever find one for cheap, man, I would love to get a King Kong show plush of the Kong plush from that. Um, yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't have 76 Kong because I don't like 76 Kong. So if unavailable, let's change my monster. Who's good here? Who's got power? Actually, Manila has the most power, so Manila gets to do the showdown. Sorry if you're still here, Glitch. Manila to the rescue. Um, I think I'm out of stuff to do on here. Um, my poster for 33 King Kong is the French design with King on the Empire State Building. I got it at a record store. Cool. For French posters, the one that I love is where Kong's opening the doors of the Great Wall, and there's like the fire and the sacrifice there. That is a great poster where it's like in black and Kong is lit by the torches and stuff. That is a great poster. And you remember King Kong glasses from Burger King? Yeah, there's a collection of King Kong baseball cards. Yeah, those are all the '76 version, right? Yeah, I'm out of stuff to do on those. Check my deck. So I got those new cards in, or new pieces. What is this? Voigador and that. Okay, those are the big pieces this time around. Which I do not have any of those. So okay, that's fine. Oh, Godzilla Earth could use an update. Is that evolved? GVK? GMK, God. GMK. Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah. He could use an update. Mothra's... Okay, where's my ride? Oh, there he is. Okay, I have... Where's my other sets here? That's my Nerve set. That's my All Ghidorahs and All Mothras set. And this is my All Goji set. I don't really have room for Ride in here. So I'm not going to worry about it. I don't use those sets anyways. This is my set. My Champs. Which is mostly Kong set at this point. Alright. Alright, I'm going to turn the game off then, because I got nothing else to do in it. And I'm just going to go back to full screen. There we go. Turn that off. Back to full screen, so we can like chit-chat. Also published King Kong comic book. Ironically, it was an adaptation of the '30s Kong. Yes, they did. I have it. It is right. Oh, sorry. Get out of the way. I've got Imperial Kong right there with my original Imperial Godzilla. This is the one I had as I was a kid. This is my original Imperial Godzilla from the '80s. The comic. This one. That one. Yeah, this one was made because Miriam C. Cooper was trying to retain the rights to King Kong. Because after King Kong vs. Godzilla was made, he found out that, like, wait, what are you doing licensing out King Kong? I own King Kong. You don't own King Kong, RKO. I only licensed King Kong to you to make the movie. So he, after a bunch of court cases, it was determined that he only owned the rights to the original book. And so he commissioned, well, he and Gold Key worked together to create this comic to reaffirm his copyright over the book, the 1932 novelization and the story. So this comic, and I have a video about this comic on my channel. Go watch it. I flip through this comic and look at it and talk about like the differences between this and the movie and how it's based on the book and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, beautiful cover on this one too. Yeah, it's yeah, you can see here, authorized edition, if you can see, if it's not washing it out. Authorized edition by Miri, created by Miri and C. Cooper. So it's like, and it's, yeah, copyright 1968 by Miri and C. Cooper. So it's it's Cooper trying to retain his rights to King Kong, is where this comic comes from. Now, can I get it back into my shelf without destroying it? Get in there, you. How are you in there? Good. There we go. All right. Sorry. You can see me fussing around with stuff. And then Godzilla, Imperial Godzilla, which for a long time was actually our toothbrush holder. Kept my toothbrushes in it, my wife and I, because I didn't really understand the value of it. Now that I know the value of an original Imperial Godzilla, I'm like, no, I'm good. We'll keep it on the shelf for now. Yeah, get in place. Okay, there we go. More or less. I will end up fixing that anyways. Yeah. I also have the Criterion Laserdisc of the 33 King Kong, the auto commentary. It's really cool. Yes, I do have a laser glare. Sure, nice. Why not? I'm still trying to get the Blu-ray. I have the DVD, but I want the Blu-ray of Kong. No line where someone called Kong a male chauvinist ape. Autocorrect is always fighting for some reason. Beautiful cover. I want that comic. Yeah. I haven't actually checked Internet Archive for the comic. I got the comic at a local show for $50. So that maybe gives you an idea of what it's worth. I would have to double check. Yeah, have to check it out. Godzilla had a Marvel comic at one time. Yes, he did. And in fact, there is. Sorry, this is bugging me. Sorry, I can't leave things well enough alone. If it's bugging me, it'll be bugging me forever. Someone is making, or has made, like a soft vinyl of the Marvel Comics Godzilla as well. So if you're a toy collector, that might be worth looking into. Yeah, there's a few Godzilla, or sorry, King Kong paper ephemera things that I have. I have Fay Ray's autobiography is right there. God, where is it? Right there. Right? No, behind the Lego. Right? No, God. Right there. There it is. Fay Ray's autobiography. I've got that comic, and I've got copy of the novel, and the Kiko, the Japanese Kiko book, Son of Kong book, which I did a video about. I would also like to get, if I can, ever, I would like to get the uh, the famous Monsters of Filmland issue about King Kong that the NECA figure is based on. So that NECA like painted figure of Kong, where he's in like, whatever lurid colors, that's based off a famous Monsters of Filmland cover. So I don't have that figure, but if I can get that issue, then I will get the figure to go with it. So I wouldn't mind getting that. There's also a great Mad magazine cover where there's Alfred E. Newman on the Empire State Building, and it's a bunch of gorillas in biplanes trying to shoot him down. So if I could ever find that issue as well, then that'd be a lot of fun. I own the 33. Oh, hold on. Godzilla Fought the Avengers, yeah. Own 33 King Kong on Blu-ray, DVD, 2 Laserdisc releases, and a VHS. I'm way too dedicated. Nice. One of my first copies of King Kong was a VHS that had a sound box built into the front cover art. Yep, I have that. It doesn't have a battery right now, but there we go. That is that one. So yeah, once I get a new battery for it, then it will roar again. But yeah, I have that. That just hangs out back here. Yeah, whatever. Put it back later. Yeah. That's VHS session. Yeah. Someone put out a VHS of King Kong in color. Yeah. Sadly, my copy got lost over time. Wasn't the Meat Eater Kong fights color purple like Barney? Yeah. I don't know. I haven't actually seen the colorized version. I've seen like clips from the colorized version. I've never actually watched it because why? Why would I watch the colorized version when I can watch it in original glorious black and white? Um, so yeah, not on my list of things to do. I'm a little bit protective of my Kong experience. So original black and white, thank you very much. Original movie is best. Um, pass on 76. Pass on 2005. King Kong versus Barney. That'd be hilarious. Yeah. Let's be friends. Let's not. Yeah. But yeah, I don't collect too much of the media. I just want to just one good copy of the movie is good enough for me. Once I get the Blu-ray, I will pawn off the DVD. Um, the VHS. The only reason I have this is just because it is such a collector piece, because of the soundboard in there. Which again, I have to put a battery in there. But yeah, 60th anniversary. There we go. And something that I wish on that 60th anniversary, 1993, Fay Ray came to my neck of the woods because she was born just outside of the town of Cardston in southern Alberta. They have like a fountain dedicated to her. If you see my video on finding Fay Ray's birthplace, that's what that's about. And she actually came to Cardston in '93 as part of like their town festivities and to promote her book, her autobiography, and to be the hostess, special guest at a 60th anniversary screening of King Kong in the theater there. And it's like, man, I wish I had half a brain in 1993. I was a teenager. I was a teenager at that point. I wish I would have been 13, 14 in 93. Man, I wish I had a brain to have nagged my parents. Let's go to Cardston. Fay Ray's coming. Like if I like could go back in time and like wake up one morning and I was like 13-year-old me again, there's lots of things I would do differently, and one of them is that I would nag my parents to take me to see King Kong in a movie theater in Cardston with Fay Ray. There, absolutely. I wish. Where are we at here? I think there's also a colorized version of Mighty Joe Young, probably. The colorized version of King Kong as an experiment, the original black and white is infinitely superior in every way. Yes, absolutely. Black and white is generally superior. Um, color has its place if you can do it well, and most don't. Um, okay, so here's okay. So I am of the opinion that part of what makes Universal monster movies so good is that they're in black and white. It's beautiful, rich black and white, beautiful like rich shadows. It's very gothic atmosphere. It's perfect in black and white. And then after the Universal movies run their course, you can sort of go in two different directions. You go off to Hammer movies, which are just in color. Blah, there's color. Or you go over to American International Pictures with their Poe movies, which are like in lurid colors. It's like all reds and purples and greens and blues. And that's the way to go, right? Like it's not just like, oh look, it's in color now. But like, no, it's in color now. The lurid, like vivid, like, yeah, like super saturated, lurid colors. Um, so yeah, if you can't do it in black and white, go to the other extreme and make it like super saturated, vivid, lurid colors, like AIP does. That's the way to go about it. Stegosaurus is purple too. Yeah, Fay Ray was a gorgeous doll. I have a gorgeous doll of Fay Ray. It's a Fay Ray Barbie, right up there. That's her. Well, no, that's Kong, but there's the Barbie right there. Um, and that's the only like Fay Ray thing I have. Like the only Fay Ray things are like this thing, this Barbie, and like the little minifig that came with the McFarlane Kong, which I'm pointing at right there, and then like there's the little minifig that came with the Mezco Kong, and there's also a little Fay Ray figure grafted into the X Plus Kong, like right there. Um, yeah, it's only like the only piece of like Fay Ray King Kong merch that's just her is that Barbie. Everything else is just Fay Ray as an accessory for Kong, which is fair enough. But I would love, again, I'm at the point in my like Kong collecting where it's like I have enough monkey figures, right? I want other things. So dinosaurs, give me some dinosaur figures. Give me Fay Ray, and God, give me like Robert Armstrong. Give me Bruce Cabot. I have seen on like Etsy, you can get like a little scale model of a tramp steamer. I'm really tempted to get one. Just to have like a tramp steamer, have the Voyager, the Wanderer, whatever you want to call it, depending on what version, the Venture, sorry, the Venture or the Wanderer, depending on if it's the book or the movie. Um, like I'm tempted to get one of those just to have it in the collection. Um, but I would like other things that recall the movie than just another figure of Kong. I've got enough Kongs now. Got enough monkeys. Um, and with that said, I have more on the way though. But yeah, like the Konami blind box figures. I have a bunch of them on the way from Japan, and it's the dinosaurs. It's got all the dinosaurs. So it's got like the Brontosaurus, the Pteranodon, and the Meat Eater, T Rex or Allosaurus, whatever you want to call it. Like hooray, great! I want more of that. I want more of those figures. That's why, like, I when I found it for a price I was willing to pay, like just to get the X Plus T Rex there, is like hurrah, hooray, like yay, perfect. I want a figure of that. I want other things than Kong. I like the movie, not just the monkey. I can understand Kong's fascination with her, yes. Although that said, Helen Mack in Son of Kong, she's a little bit more my type. I am surprised Battle Lines hasn't released a 62 Kong or at least Mechanic Kong. I would love for them to do that. But the rights to Kong are such a dog's breakfast that I can understand why they wouldn't. Um, they actually tried in the 90s in the Heisei series to do an anniversary Godzilla versus Kong, and RKO was having none of it. Because RKO was being licensed through Turner, and Turner was being a dink about it. And so they just were like, no, we don't have the money, we don't have the interest to fight to pay exorbitant amounts to have Kong in this. So then they tried to do um, Godzilla versus Mechanicon, right? Because this movie would have been like the 30th anniversary movie of King Kong versus Godzilla, and so they thought, well, let's do Mechanicon instead. But then that was too close to King Kong, so they would have got in trouble for that too. Um, so then they were just like, forget it, and just had Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Um, yeah, I would. So I would love to have 62 Kong, or especially Mechanicon, in Battle Line. But I can understand with the rights being what they are, that would be too much of a pain in the butt for them to want to deal with, so, which is too bad. But hey, at least we only have what, it's 2024, so we have 5 years, and then King Kong will be public domain. 33 King Kong will be public domain, and that will free up a lot of rights issues. Because right now the book is public domain, but the 33 film is still owned by RKO, which is still around. Um, but that will become public domain in 2029. So 33 Kong will be public domain 2029, and that will free up a lot of rights issues. So I would not be surprised to see a ton of merchandise come out like 2029, and then leading up to the centennial in 2033 is going to be like crazy, because by then Kong will be public domain. So that'll be a lot of fun. Corey, did you ever see Dr. X, the only color film Fay Ray acted in? That is not the only color film Fay Ray was in. Fay Ray also did color in Mystery of the Wax Museum. And I feel like there's another one. Um, Vampire Bat has a color sequence in it. But yeah, no, Dr. X and Mystery of the Wax Museum both have Fay Ray, they both have color. But I have a copy of Dr. X. So, yes, I have seen it. It's okay. It's not, like, great. Same with Mystery of the Wax Museum. It's okay, but it's not, like... I think House of Wax, the remake with Vincent Price, is better than Mystery of the Wax Museum. Um, the Paramount Horrors which is like Dr. X and Mystery of the Wax Museum and Island of Lost Souls and Murders in the Zoo. Those are all Paramount movies. They are okay, but they're not like great. They're not quite up to snuff with Universal. Um, so yeah, OG Universal monster movies are the best in black and white, hands down. Absolutely, absolutely. Black and white is the only worthwhile way of doing horror. Yeah, Mystery Wax Museum is Fay Ray and it's in color as well. Losing track of here. Wasn't Mystery Wax Museum also in color? Yep. Why didn't they ever do a figure of Kiko? A good one. Right? Like, that's why I went nuts for these ones. The Japan 1980s Kiko stuff, like the Kodak stuff and the doll and the book. That's why I go nuts for it. Because like it's Kiko. Like there's never any Kiko stuff. There's never any Son of Kong stuff. But then except for in the 1980s, there was this weird Japanese advertising campaign with Kiko. So that's why I glomped onto that, because it's like, what? Kiko stuff? Yeah. I wish there was a figure of Kiko. I would love if NECA put out like a Son of Kong figure. I think the problem with that one is that you can't pass it off as anything else, right? Because like King Kong, NECA could do a King Kong figure because they could argue that that is based on the book and not on the movie, and the book is public domain. Even though they made it look like almost dead on 1933, it's almost dead on 1933. Just enough to give them plausible deniability to say that it's based on the book and not on the movie. Whereas Son of Kong, like there's no way around that. Son of Kong is the movie, and the movie is also not public domain until 2029. It will become public domain the same year that the original does, because they were made in the same year. So there's just no way around Son of Kong being something you have to officially license, which is why we don't see Kiko stuff. Plus, nobody cares about Kiko except for like super nerds. Like me, I'm a super nerd and I care about it, and that's why I got all this like Kiko stuff from Japan. Appropriately enough, Kiko was built from one of Kong's models for the first film. Yeah, I forget which one. But with a long face or short face. But yeah, Kiko was a repurposed model of the original King Kong. Stripped him down and remade him. You should do a diorama of the OG King Kong movie gates, considering you have a bunch of Kong figures. I would love to do that. It's actually one of my plans someday to do that. So, there is floating around out there, and I downloaded it. One of the production designers for the 2005 Kong, he showed off some concept art that they had done of the gates based on the original movie. Like all the production designers, they were just sort of like, let's fuss around and let's do like the original gates, right? And so I have like the CAD drawing they did of it, and I want to use that as a basis, like get a print off of it at the size I want, and then just use like styrofoam and like carve it and make one that like fits the shelf. That is something I would love to do someday. Um, not anytime soon though. I think I'm so busy right now. We'll see come like winter, when I have no job and nothing to do, and I'm waiting for the next summer for next tour season to start. Um, we'll see what trouble I get up to, and if I get around to that project. I think it's just kind of daunting because it's a big scope, and to do it accurately would be a lot of work, and I don't necessarily want to do that much work. So, but yes, I would love to make the gates for sure. Did you know Forrest Ackerman kept one of the Kong models? Yes. Yes, I did. And here is a kicker. Okay. In 2006, I went to Los Angeles mainly to go to Disneyland, meet up with some friends of mine. and we came up with the idea of like, let's go to visit Forrest Ackerman, because we knew that he has open hours at his house and would receive visitors to see his collections. And so we went and we met him, and I have photos with him. And I'll see if I can bring it up. And hooray, great. There we go. Um, and I wonder, at the time, I wasn't a Kong fan. I was mostly interested in the Lost World. I was actually working on some Lost World related stuff, and so I did a lot of Lost World related photography. And so I like going like trying to find the original models, finding like this Bessie Love and Wallace Beery's stars on the Walk of Fame, stuff like that. And I went to visit Forrest Ackerman with the hope that um, he would still have the models. I knew he had for a while at least some of the original models from the Lost World, 1925. And so I hoped, there you go. Shrink that down a little bit. There we go. So I had hoped that he would still have some of those models. Yeah. And he did not. But I am wondering now, where am I? Hello. Um, so that's Forrest Ackerman in the middle, there, the old man. Uh, two of my friends there, and then I'm the one with the hair. Um, uh, I am wondering though, did I see the King Kong models at the time and just didn't appreciate them because I was so focused on like the Lost World? I won't know. I won't remember. I feel like I did see them, but again, I don't really remember. Um, so yeah. Um, so I may have actually seen one of the original Kongs and just don't remember, which is lame. Way to go, Corey. We're talking about an amazing collection. Yeah, even in his mini mansion, was what we saw, like his bungalow, not his full mansion, but his bungalow, still had amazing stuff. Rex Evans says, "Hi, Mr. Core. I'm sorry I'm late. Do you think Davy Crockett's hat should still be called what it is called?" Um, yes, as long as you're aware that you are referring to Raccoon. Sure. Hi, Rex. Why did Lionel Atwill co-star in so many Fay Ray films? I think that's just a product of them both being signed by the same studio. And I mean, Lionel Atwill did a lot of horror movies and a lot of mystery movies because he's just perfectly suited. Because Lionel Atwill was a creep in real life as well. I don't know if you've heard the stories of Lionel Atwill, but he was a creep in real life. We had the same agent. I might get a King Kong 1933 soundtrack vinyl. Ooh, nice. Also, Island of Lost Souls is one of my favorites. Love Charles Laughton. Yes. I also love the original H.G. Wells novel Island of Dr. Moreau. Charles Laughton is freaking amazing. He is definitely the highlight of Island of Lost Souls. I know Lost Souls isn't bad, actually. I would consider it like pretty much like that upper echelon of non-Universal movies that are as good as Universal movies. So, which is a small list, right? So you think like the best of Universal classic horror, Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein, Dracula, The Mummy, etc. Um, Outside of Universal, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is like top tier. King Kong is top tier. Um, I would also say Mark of the Vampire is pretty darn close. Mad Love is pretty darn close. Island of Lost Souls is pretty darn close to being like universal quality movies. Um, so yeah, and I mean Charles Laughton is freaking amazing. Charles Laughton is my favorite classic actor, for sure. His Quasimodo is unreal. Like he was born to play that part. Lionel Atwill is quite a character in real life. That is one way of describing him. I really liked him in Son of Frankenstein. Yeah, I'm genuinely upset they didn't name Suko Kiko in GXK. Again, I think that is a matter of Kiko being a licensed character, right? Like there is no way like they could argue when they made um when they made Kong Skull Island, when they made GXK, GVK, that they were basing their Kong off of the public domain book, which is why I think you don't actually see, like in the movie, credit given to like Miriam C. Cooper and stuff like that, because they don't want to tie it to the movie, because the movie is licensed. Um, so you have that plausible deniability that your Kong is based off the book and not the movie. Whereas Kiko, there's no way around that. Kiko, Son of Kong, that's the movie, and the movie is still copyright until 2029. Son of Kong is copyright, so you will not see Kiko before then. That story he told about the monster tearing off his arm was both disturbing and compelling at the same time. Yeah. He should hold on. Where are we? Time. I'm also super nerd, and I think Kiko is pretty cool. It's just when I talk about him, no one knows besides my best friend who Kiko even is. Yeah, yeah, it's a rare movie. Like nobody, it's an also ran. Nobody knows about Son of Kong. It is what it is. Um, yeah, he was delicious. My favorite character in the movie. Him and Igor, Dr. Frankenstein was the least interesting person in the film. Well, Basil Rathbone did a good job with Wolf von Frankenstein. Um, except that it's like, dude, if you want people to not be suspicious of you, this is not how you act. Like you don't act like you're a maniac who's very suspicious. Nothing that he did made any sense. Yeah. Have you ever read the Flash Gordon comic strip? Do you have any place you recommend starting? Um, I've read a bit. I mean, too. There's online archives of the original comic strip, like from the 30s. I would start with that. In fact, I have. I kind of fell behind because I've been so busy. Um, but yeah, you can find the original like 1930s comic strips online. Start with that. Speaking of Flash Gordon, where is he? There, no, over here. Flash Gordon, right there over my shoulder, right there. There he is. Flash Gordon, right there. He should have led the police to the monster as soon as he found out it was anywhere near his son. Yeah. I don't think people nowadays have respect for King Kong 1933 that they should. Without Willis O'Brien, we wouldn't have Ray Harryhausen. He influenced Peter Jackson, Steven Spielberg, etc. Yeah, I mean, one can try and argue, like, oh no, the MonsterVerse is like, raise the profile for King Kong again, and maybe it'll make more people interested. Maybe it will. That'd be nice. But I don't know. I mean, people are kind of biased against old movies, anyways, right? So it's hard to really account for it. Like, I don't really know what to say, right? Um, I wish more people were more into classic movies. I wish there was more respect for them. I wish a lot of things that I don't get. So it is what it is. I got nothing. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. Just, yeah, I agree. I wish there was more respect for him. Um, maybe he was hoping it would cure off that annoying brat. Well, hello. I got a coonskin cap recently. I don't know. I wear it everywhere. Sure, why not? Charles Lawton was also an amazing Quasimodo. Yes, Charles Lawton was freaking incredible as Quasimodo. I wish I could be made of stone like the. Oh my god, such a good line. Such a good characterization. Like, yeah, just freak. His Quasimodo is so good. Um, yeah, just astonishing. Sorry, got distracted by a Transformer toy I'm playing with. Yeah, it's just yeah. I don't know what to say. Like he's I talk about it in my RKO series when I get around to 1939. RKO in 1939 and the Lawton Hunchback of Notre Dame is just yeah, he's so good in it, and it's just one of those like perfect castings Like just perfect, absolutely perfect Hollywood casting. Um, so few actors get a perfect role in their lifetime, and Charles Laughton, Quasimodo, absolutely a perfect role, hands down, bar none, perfect role. Um, Also, weirdly enough, um, Lon Chaney Jr. got it twice for as non-versatile an actor as he was. Lenny Small and Larry Talbot are both perfect roles, and he got both of those, so that's something as well. But yeah, Lawton is amazing no matter what. I think it was actually better than Cheney. Yeah. Um, the 1923 Hunchback has a bigger scope than the 39 Hunchback. Certainly, it's a bigger movie. It's a more epic scale, but the 39 has the better character. Like 39, Quasimodo, Charles Laughton is freaking unbelievable. Um, no, without parallel, without parallel, easily the best Quasimodo ever. With all due respect to actors who came after, um, there's just no comparison. It's Charles Laughton, hands down, all the way. Um, Kiko was so brave, he gave his life rescuing Carl Denham. Yeah. In the weird, like, Deus Ex Machina ending to Son of Kong, which I've done a whole video about as well. Um, that Son of Kong originally always was going to end with the island getting destroyed. That was always the ending for Son of Kong. But, um, there was going to be more movie in between in the as originally conceived, and then it was just the the studio pulling the money that made it less than what it could have been, which is unfortunate because yeah, Son of Kong as originally conceived would have been a pretty epic movie. In fact, they could have even made like two movies. It could have been like a trilogy, but whatever. I've seen Son of Kong a dozen times. I like Son of Kong. As a fun little epilogue, I think Son of Kong is a great movie. It doesn't compare to King Kong, but like nothing does. So whatever. Like that's hardly a metric when you have like the one of the best movies of all time. Um, but it's a nice little follow up. Like you can sort of we know how Kong dies, right? And we can infer that Fay Ray and Bruce Cabot they go on, they get married. Okay. But then what happens to Carl Denham? And what's the fallout, right? So that's what Son of Kong shows us. It's like what happens to the other characters? What happened to them? Um, so I think that's fine. It's a nice little epilogue. Again, it's not as big a scale as King Kong, but it's just a nice little movie on its own. Flash Gordon had music from Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah, sure. Um, let's see. Sorry. So you guys get me talking, and then I lose track of where the um. Cool, thanks for the advice. I love old serials and 80s film. Want to start reading the comic strip. Yeah. Um, they also see some old sets from Frankenstein. Yeah. Did you see The Crow? No, I did not see the remake of The Crow. I'm not gonna see the remake of The Crow. Why? Why would I bother? The Crow, the original Crow, is such a cultural touchstone movie. Um, like one might not realize it if you weren't there in the 80s or sorry the 90s, but like 1990s goth culture, goth industrial, like it's got one of the best soundtracks ever. And it was such a 90s movie, it's such a cultural touchstone. And then you have on top of that, you have the whole thing around like the tragedy of what happened to Brandon Lee. That is just why would you bother remaking The Crow? Like that is just to me such a cynical move and such a clear example of Hollywood just sort of nothing sacred, Hollywood depravity that they would even think to remake The Crow. Um, so not interested. And it's actually funny is if you go to Alex Proyas's Twitter account. So he's the director of the original Crow. Go to his Twitter account, and he doesn't say much, but he certainly um, reposts negative reviews of the new Crow. He doesn't think much of the whole remaking it either. Um, Everything's a remake now. I talk about classic movies. Most of my friends think I'm going crazy. Only my best friend. Yeah. Um, yeah, people, there's a bias. Everybody thinks, oh, it's got to be new to be good, right? Old movies are lame because they're old. New movies are better because they're new. When it's like, nope, you have no idea. You have no idea what you're missing because old movies are awesome. You just have to get into them. And that's the only part that I will concede is that classic film has a vocabulary that can be difficult for people to access. If you're not used to the vocabulary of classic film, then they can seem a bit weird, right? Because they've got sort of standards of acting and um, behavior and effects and cinematography and stuff like that, which is different from today. So that can be a little bit daunting for people to get into. You have to learn that vocabulary. So I understand that part. But once you learn the vocabulary, like classic film is amazing. So many good classic films people don't care about because, oh, it's old, so it's bad. You have no idea how little the modern generation respects older movies. My classmates talk about the original Dracula and refer to the Francis Ford Coppola version. No! I mean, I like Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, but no, that's not the original. Go back to Nosferatu if you're going to talk original. That's why audiences aren't going to the theaters anymore. Yeah. Why would you even remake The Crow, exactly? They'd be like remaking Casablanca. Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't remake Casablanca because it's not 1941 anymore. Casablanca was the perfect movie for its time, and it was such a cultural touchstone. It's situated in such a moment in history with the war going on, and to try and remake Casablanca would be insane. To remake Gone with the Wind would be insane. Um, why bother? Um, I would even say Wizard of Oz too. Like remake like the thing is like Wizard of Oz, like you could redo the story, but again, why? You're competing with the best version ever made of it already has been made. The best possible version has already been made. There'd be no point. So why would you bother? And yeah, because like again, it's such a cultural touchstone. Gone with the Wind was a cultural touchstone. Casablanca is a cultural touchstone. Citizen Kane is a cultural touchstone. So like, why remake it? And I would insist so is King Kong. Why remakes of King Kong never work, even though people like insist on liking like 2005 Kong for reasons that are completely opaque to me. Because the original King Kong is such a cultural touchstone. Even 2005 set it in 1933 anyway. So like at that point, what's the point? Why would you bother remaking it if you set it in the original time period? Yeah, it's just like and The Crow is such a cultural touchstone. Back to the Future is a cultural touchstone. Those are movies that wouldn't be what they are if they were made in a different time. What's your favorite Ray Harryhausen movie? Mine is Mysterious Island, Out of the Normal. Um, sure, I agree with that. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of Ray Harryhausen. I think if I was going to narrow it down to two movies, it would be Earth versus the Flying Saucers, just because it's such a perfect like flying saucer movie, and Mysterious Island because I'm a huge Jules Verne nerd. So either of those is fine by me. Mysterious Island, sure, why not? Which Transformer is that? Oh, this is Scourge. So yeah, you missed right at the beginning. I did a toy unboxing sort of segment because today was like the day of all of the toy shows in Calgary, in my hometown here. Um, and so I went and I picked up Scourge here, this version of Scourge. I also picked up, oh my god, stand. His wings are unwieldy. That is the only problem with this Scourge. Whatever. And reveal the shield Cyclonus. And Cup. And I had like, okay, so Transformers the movie 1986 is like my jam. That is my Transformers. I was alive for the original run, like 1984, 85, 86. Um, I was around then. But Transformers the movie was like cultural touchstone again, right? You could not make Transformers the movie in any time other than 1986. So I love those characters and everything. Um, and I have a collection of core class Transformers, so little itty bitty Transformers. But the characters I love are the movie characters, and I have a particular thing for the movie characters done as like realistic looking vehicles. So Cup transforms into something that looks like a real pickup truck, looks like an actual Dodge. This Scourge transforms into a stealth bomber, as opposed to like this weird boat thing. Um, so yeah, and this is my second time owning these characters because I got rid of them before to focus on just collecting core class. But I found them for like $10, and I'm like, you know what? There's no point depriving myself of a figure I love, of a character I love, from a movie I love. So there we go. That is why I now own Scourge again, and Cyclonus again, and Cup again. Um, there were Dybbuk, you should check out Barbed Wire. Um, da, 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 da. Sorry, where is the? Oh my God. Okay. Um. Oh, sorry. I got so behind in the comments here. Okay, Barbed Wire. Might watch 1927 Napoleon. Cool. Napoleon was a strange choice for a movie. One of history's greatest villains. He's a dictator. Well, yeah. I mean, he came out of the whole Reign of Terror, so. What's your favorite King Kong parody? Mine's the Simpsons one. Um, Favorite King Kong parody. There's two cartoons from like 1930s. There's King Clunk, which has racial caricatures to its days, to its time period, but otherwise is amusing. And then Disney did a Mickey Mouse, The Pet Shop, where there is an homage to Kong at the end of it, which is really funny as well, that I enjoy. Whoa, light just turned on. Um, those would be my two favorite Kong parodies. Um, Least favorite would be Queen Kong, just because it's like very 70s. If I was alive during time of Napoleon, I would have been in the army that was fighting against him. Okay. I think remaking The Crow isn't really that great, morally speaking, no. Hollywood loves villains more than heroes. Well, yeah. Crow remake put me to sleep. Abel Gance, who directed Napoleon 1927, also made J'accuse. They make so many horrible films today. If it managed to stand the test of time and be looked at as a masterpiece 90 years later, it must be garbage. Yeah, yeah. If it managed to stand the test of time and be still looked at as a masterpiece 90 years later, it must be garbage. Nobody in the new Alien film can act. Yeah, most people nowadays are too low IQ to understand classic films, in my opinion. Maybe. I think it's more, if I was being fair, it's just different time period, different things going on, and different vocabulary for cinema. So it's not that people are dumb, it's just they're not used to seeing movies like that. And you have to sort of understand their historical context to understand the movies, and a lot of people don't. Um, but again, Sam, the original Dracula is actually Dracula, but it lost and has nothing to do with the book, according to some sources. Yeah, I think I've heard of that one. I wouldn't actually mind a remake of Wizard of Oz. You can't remake Casablanca, but you can do Nosferatu without Shadow the Vampire, mind you. You know what? What's the point of remaking Nosferatu? Because Nosferatu was just Dracula. So you're just doing another version of Dracula, but with different character names. So I don't know. Whatever. And I have seen Werner Herzog's Nosferatu. It is long. The L. Frank Baum book is very different from the film. Yeah. I like 2005 King Kong because it's dumb fun. Fair enough. I also prefer silent cinema over sound cinema because I'm a giga nerd. Fair enough. I used to be like giga nerd for silent era as well, and then I did get more into early sound. So I guess my trajectory will eventually take me. Well, I guess I already kind of am into mid-century film more so. Like I've gotten more into um, like 50s sci-fi and stuff like that than I have been in the past. So I guess I am getting up to the modern day eventually, slowly. Um, but early sound film. If I could only pick one decade of movies, it would be 1931 to 41. That would be like my one decade. If I only was allowed to watch one decade for the rest of my life, it would be that. They're already remaking Nosferatu. Yeah, I love Jason the Argonaut. Seventh Boy Sinbad for me. Where to go? Sinbad. How can I guess Popeye? You also said Valley Guanji and First Man on the Moon. I like Scourge of 86 Transformers also. Yeah, Guanji's fine. First Man on the Moon is fine. I mean, I'm not in love with Ray Harryhausen, so it's hard for me to pick like a favorite movie because I'm like, yeah, they're all about the same. But Guanji is fine. First Man on the Moon is fine. Loved watching Transformers movie when I was a kid. My dad hated it because he was like 7 years old when it came out and traumatized him. Oh, Rex, you are a child. No, I was like 7 when Transformers the movie came out. Actually, no, how old was I? That was 86. I was born at like the end of 77. So I would have been 9 when Transformers the movie. 8 or 9. 86. No, I would have turned 9 right at the end of 86. So I would have been 8 years old. So you're older than your dad. Oh my god. No. My viewers are children. Yes, Transformers the movie was traumatizing as a child. Because you did not go in expecting everyone to die. Like graphically. Like burnt out toaster ovens. And especially Optimus Prime. You did not go in expecting Optimus Prime to bite it. That was traumatizing as a child. I cried. I did cry when Optimus Prime died. And then I saw it again next week and the week after that. And then when it got to home video, I literally rented it every week. Like I was allowed to rent 2 movies every week when we went to the video store. One of them was always Transformers the movie. The other one was some other choice. The other Transformers VHS tapes. I also got into Robotech, which is now I know is Macross. But one of the movies was always Transformers the movie, and I would watch the heck out of that thing. And in fact, I can still recite it. I can't quite recite the entire thing right from memory. Like I used to be able to actually do the entire movie, like every single line, with inflection, with pacing. Like I could do the entire movie, because you watch it every week and it gets in your brain as a child. But now not so much. But if we're watching it, I can recite every line with the characters perfectly, like with inflection and everything. Which, of course, the best line being, "I have better things to do tonight than die." Because Springer is awesome, and the older I get, though, the more awesome Springer gets. Springer is like the only like truly competent character in the entire movie. But yeah, no, Transformers the movie was traumatizing. Here's a theory. Do you think Herbie the Love Bug was an Autobot stuck in vehicle mode? Yes. Herbie is a Transformer. And in fact, I made a Herbie. It's like the first video on my channel is me making this Herbie Transformer out of a Bug Bite figure. And he does transform. He can transform. I'm not going to do it because it's been forever since I've done it. But yes. Go watch my video on making a Herbie Transformer. He doesn't have an Autobot logo, but he is on the Autobot side of the shelf. Yes, Herbie is absolutely a Transformer. Queen Kong doesn't count. There's no comedy in it. That is brutal, Rex, but not inaccurate. There were a couple times I chuckled during Queen Kong, but most of it was pretty cringe. There's a lot of gendered comedies at the time. Classic Walt Disney is the best, correct. Queen Kong is unwatchable. But I was almost tempted, actually, to get the Medicom Queen Kong figure. There is one. It's on like Buyee. I was almost tempted to get it just to have it, but again, why? Like it would just be to get it to have it, and it's like I don't need it. It's not. I don't like the movie really, so it's like why does it? Why would I have it in my collection? Most people nowadays are too dumb to understand modern English. My evidence: Ohio is an adjective now. If my kids are disobedient, I force them to watch Queen Kong. That's child abuse. Maybe but certainly have to learn to behave. First Man on the Moon is fascinating. Remember when they killed off Optimus Prime? Yes. Yes. Grizzly's 45. I'm 46. So go team old man. Here we go. Rex is 17. Makes me child-in-law only. Have till January. Well, happy pre-birthday, Rex. Yep. I remember the first time because I used to work in museums as an educator. I still do, just a little more off and on now since COVID. Um, the first time I had parents with the school group where the parents were younger than me. And I was like, what? No way. And then I did the math, like, yeah, you know what? That actually makes sense. If I had a kid when I was like 20, they would actually be starting university, at that time. They'd be even older now. Um, yeah, and then like there was a one class, it was grade 8, it was a grade 8 class, and I actually had one of my school classmates from high school was the parent of one of the kids in this grade 8 class. I'm like, oh my god, we're all getting old. No. I love the 1925 Lost World, coming out to Caligari, Nosferatu, Phantom of the Opera, The General with Buster Keaton. Yep, all good choices. All good choices. Expose. Um, One of my favorite silent movies, if you haven't watched it, you must, is The Man Who Laughs. Freaking amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing. Um, where to go? Can we get some of your reciting of Transformers 86? No. No, you can't. You have to be watching it with me. Maybe we'll do a watch party sometime and I will just like recite the whole movie. We won't actually have it on screen because that's copyright infringement, but I'll just recite the whole movie as it's going along. But yeah. Joe riding young punk, I'll straighten you out yet. Optimus was eventually resurrected, yeah. Do you think there are parallels between Prime and Christ? No. No, there are not. Herbie was the first Autobot on Earth, correct. I want to see Herbie meets Christine. Oh god. Christine was definitely Decepticon, yeah. Like, okay, they've been doing all these Transformers crossovers, right? There's the Transformers Back to the Future. The DeLorean is a Transformer. There's Ecto-1 as a Transformer. They're just come out with Kit from Knight Rider as a Transformer. The Blackbird from X-Men is a Transformer. The F-15 from Maverick from Top Gun is a Transformer. There's going to be a Turtle Van, a Transformer. Herbie. Why have they not done an official Herbie? Why do I gotta rest with my little custom one that I made? We need an official Herbie Transformer. Like, come on, guys. It's kind of an obvious one, right? Christine would be another one, obviously Decepticon. Like just every car. Like, come on, every famous car in media, make it a Transformer. Come on, guys, get on it. Did you ever see the car? I've not seen the car. More like Lon Chaney. I think I saw that one on Svengoolie. Svengoolie my favorite show. Okay, we'll watch The Man Who Laughs tomorrow. Thank you. Yes. Watch The Man Who Laughs. Man Who Laughs is incredible. Conrad Veidt does amazing in it. And The Man Who Laughs is also inspiration for the Joker, as well, the look of the Joker. Thank you for the early happy birthday. My parents will take me to Blobfest. Yes! You have cool parents, Rex. Grew up with Transformers, the movie, taking you to Blobfest. Your parents are awesome. The Man Who Laughs looks just like the Joker, yeah. Bob Kane probably saw that movie, yep. He inspired Joker's design, yeah. I like how I say something and then I look down the comments, you guys have already said it. Disney is scared of Cold War robots, yeah. Batman himself was based on silent horror film called The Bat, yeah. Am I caught up now? Hooray, I've caught up with the comments. Yes. Yeah, well, a lot of them was going to win into Batman. And then Batman himself was really designed by Bill Finger. Bob Kane took the credit, but Bill Finger actually designed what Batman looks like. and gave all Batman all of his stuff, right? The Batmobile and the Batcave and all sorts of stuff is Bill Finger. Also part about the Shadow, yeah. Um, oh my God, okay, 1990s, right? 1989, Batman, Tim Burton's Batman movie comes out, and Hollywood, oh Hollywood, the lesson they learned from Batman's success is that all the kids today want to see 1930s pulp action heroes. And so we get the Shadow, and we get the Rocketeer and Dick Tracy, like, which is not what people wanted to see. They want to see superheroes, but we get this wonderful era of like these 1990s pulp action movies, thanks to Batman and Hollywood getting the wrong message from it. I told my parents either Blobfest or a life-size Robbie the Robot. So they chose Blobfest. Nice. Nice, yeah. I would love to go to Blobfest sometime, but it's so out of the way. Like, I would have to be going directly, like, for Blobfest. I'm never going to be, like, driving through Pennsylvania. So, but no, I'm envious. You going to Blobfest. That's awesome. Gotta watch Metropolis after Manual Laughs, or a life-size Topor. Bill Finger created all Batman's lore, yeah. The Shadow was terrible. You know, I'd have a bit of a soft spot for bad 90s movies. Um, Depending on what they are, right? So, like The Shadow is not great, but it's stylish. The Rocketeer was not a great movie, but it is a fun movie with a beautiful soundtrack. Um, Tombstone, right, is an awesome bad costume western. Great performances in it. It goes off the rails in the last third with the Vendetta ride. Um, no, but everything else is like just this beautiful, great bad costume western. And my character in Red Dead Online is totally inspired by Tombstone. He's got the handlebar mustache. He's got like the perfectly pressed outfit with the frock coat and everything. My character's name in Red Dead Online is Doc Huckleberry. So, yeah, like Tombstone is like the peak of like bad '90s costume movie. Maverick is another one for westerns as well. Yeah, I think they brought back Rondo Haton for the Rocketeer. Well, an actor made up to look like Rondo Haton. Yeah. Apparently, like a third of my family lives in Philly, and my parents just never mentioned it. Oh yeah, the Creeper. Yeah, that's Rondo Haton as the Creeper, which they did the homage to in the Rocketeer. Correct. Um, yeah, I would like to go to Blobfest, but yeah, it's just whatever. Lots of things I would like. I'd like to buy. I'd like to do. Just gotta manage my monies, right? Corey, did you ever see Borderlands? I did not see Borderlands. I've never played the game, so the thought of seeing the movie just never occurred to me. And apparently the movie is freaking awful. So no problem, no problem. But the only reason I would see Borderlands is because Kate Blanchett. But here she's awful in it too. So never mind. I want to get into Red Dead, but things need more dinosaurs. Oh my god, that would be freaking amazing. You know, everyone and their dog was like, Red Dead 2, Red Dead Online needs zombies. It needs Undead Nightmare. But I'm like, no, we already did Undead Nightmare in Undead Nightmare. So I was actually a big advocate for Red Dead Online or Red Dead 2 needed aliens. Because there's like the flying saucer Easter eggs in Red Dead Redemption 2. So like why not have have an alien invasion that you have to fight off? But dinosaurs I would also accept. I would I would love Valley of Gwangi dinosaurs, absolutely. That would be awesome. Um but no, Red Dead Online is a dead game, unfortunately. And I still have my character and I still log in now and then, but like nothing is happening in it. Nothing's going on. He's just fighting off griefers. That's about all that happens in Red Dead. I have nothing to spend money on. So I've got like well over 100 gold and well over like $100,000 in cash in Red Dead Online, which I wish I had in real life. That'd be great. I wish I was as rich in real life as I was in Red Dead Online. So this is what it is. Um, there's still so much potential. They could seriously come back to Red Dead Online and like make it a good game, but nope. Um, oh my god, Borderlands. Like Paul the Ape Woman. I remember what Paul the Ape Woman is from. Is it from the Captive Wild Woman series? Oh my god, Borderlands. Corey, if you ever have annoying guests come over, play Borderlands on your TV. I'll get rid immediately. The Bone Wars happen around when Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place, so that would be cool. There is a reference to them, kind of. In Red Dead Redemption 2, there is a set of stranger missions where you find dinosaur bones for this lady paleontologist. Um, you technically can't finish that as as Arthur Morgan. Not to do spoilers for a game that's like what 10 years old now. Um, but yeah, there is paleontology in Red Dead Redemption 2. Um, but fighting actual full on dinosaurs would be great. Um, it's funny. I think the same apply to Fallout, Borderlands, Helldivers, How I Stopped Rain, Love the Bomb, the game. Do you remember all the dinosaur influenced cartoons from the 80s, like Dino Riders and Dino Saucers? Frickin' Dino Riders is amazing. That is one I'm surprised has not made a comeback. Although there was somebody produced a set of like army men sized figures for Dino Riders, and they had like even smaller little riders to go in the dinosaurs. I almost bought that set as well, except it's they messed up the set because they made two of the villainous dinosaurs into good guy dinosaurs, like with the colors. Because like the good guy dinosaurs didn't wear brain boxes because the good guys could communicate telepathically with the dinosaurs. They didn't need it. It was the bad guys who needed the brain boxes. Um, but they made like two of the dinosaurs in this set with the brain boxes into good guys. Like, wrong. So, but Dino Riders would be a great thing to make a comeback. Captive Wild Woman. I don't have any feelings about Captive Wild Woman. Um, I have it, but I've like watched it like once. So, and that's why I think it's the like Shout's Universal Horror Set 5, I think it is, that has like all three Captive Wild Woman movies, and then the Lady and the Monster or something, or Lady and the Ape or whatever. Um, I want to get it for like completionist sake, but I don't want to pay like $75 for a set that's like three Captive Wild Woman movies. Like it wasn't, and I mean if you like it, great, but it just wasn't memorable for me. So like yeah. I mentioned the Bone Wars, Great Depression, which are my favorite historical times. Yeah, you someone else remembered. Paul the Ape appeared in 3 films. Yeah, should have married the Wolfman. Dino Riders needs 3 movie deal already. Yeah. Dino Riders were cool. I like the T Rex with the strapped on cannons. Oh, I mean, Dino Riders, like, come on. Like, it's dinosaurs and aliens in heavy armed combat. Like, that, how is that not the coolest thing ever? Um, but nobody's jumped on it. Nobody's jumped on Dino Riders. So there you go. It is what it is. It is what it is. But actually, one that I'm surprised nobody's jumped on is actually Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. I wonder if that is because the gimmick was so situated to the 80s. Um, but the show itself is actually like a pretty decent, like cyberpunk dystopian future story. It still holds up, weirdly enough. But I mean, it was written by J. Michael Straczynski, so it should hold up. Um, but the whole central gimmick of like the planes that can shoot at the TV, that doesn't even work anymore because modern TVs don't work the same way. Um, but you'd think like Captain Power is such a solid premise that it would have gone on. But I guess the Matrix is like Captain Power, so there you go. Paul's always been shot and come back from the dead, just like the Gill Man. I have a pet gecko. It has seen 933 King Kong, so my gecko has better taste than my peers. Your gecko has awesome taste. Your gecko has great taste in movies. Captain Wild Woman 3 is actually pretty fun. It's the only Universal movie I got my acquaintance to watch due to Monkey. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I want to see them, but I just don't want to pay $75 for them, which is what those sets cost here in Canada. Um, I mean, I would like to upgrade my collection to Blu-ray. I have the Blu-ray 30 disc set of the like the monsters. It's like the Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, all those ones. I have that box set, but everything else for Universal Monsters I have on DVD. I wouldn't mind upgrading my to those Shout Blu-ray sets, but again, I don't want to pay $75 for 4 movies. Like that's ridiculous. And like the first set is at least worth it. Like they're like the top tier movies, except it's also missing Murders of the Rue Morgue. But then like it's diminishing returns with every set, and you get down to like 5 and 6, and it's like the scrape in the bottom of the barrel. It's just like I don't want to pay $75 for 3 Captain Wild Woman movies. So I want them. I'd pay like $20 for it, but not 75. I remember the toy line for Captain Power. They were interactive. Yes, they were. That was the whole gimmick. Is that they were like light guns. It's like laser tag, and they interacted with the TV. They interacted with each other, and you could shoot each other. And when you lost all your points, your little guy ejected out of the plane. Yeah, I had all that stuff. I had the PowerJet XT7. I had the Power On converter, and I had the Interlocker throne for Captain Power, and I had all the action figures as well. So that was one of my big things. Was Captain Power. That was one where I definitely had like all the toys. Transformers was my biggest thing, and I had a mixed Transformers collection, a few figures here and there, but not really like a comprehensive collection. GI Joes, that was one actually probably the most comprehensive collection of figures, especially later in the line when I could like consciously collect like all of Ninja Force, stuff like that. Yeah, it was probably my biggest one because GI Joe was also pretty versatile. Like those figures could stand in for other things, so I could have them fight like aliens and monsters and all sorts of other stuff. It didn't have to just be GI Joe versus Cobra. But yeah, I probably had the most GI Joe figures. They're also the most affordable, right, compared to like Transformers and stuff like that. But Transformers, I had a lot of like the mail away figures as well. So like the Stars base and Reflector, I had that, and the Omnibots and the Power Dashers. I had like all those because I just kept sitting in my points and stuff like that. Yeah, I have I have my most fond memories around Transformers. He-Man, as I was in the early part that everybody missed when I unboxed Stinkor here. I didn't have like nearly any He-Man figures at all, but I loved the cartoon and like the magazine and stuff like that. So I followed He-Man. I just didn't have a lot of the He-Man toys. So now I'm making up for that because in addition to Stinkor, there's Skeletor and He-Man from the Masterverse line. So, but I'm not like collecting Masterverse. It's just originally I was just gonna get like He-Man and Skeletor, and then like Stinkor was like super cheap at one of these toy shows today. So I'm like, you know what? Stinkor is like my favorite henchman of Skeletor. So I'll get Stinkor, and that'll be fine. That'll do. Maybe there's somebody I know on Facebook who's selling the Masterverse Battle Cat. I might get that, so He-Man has something to ride, and that'll be like it. And then, well, if they do like a new Eternia She-Ra and a new Eternia Hordak, maybe those. But yeah. Anyways, where are we at here? Gecko's also in this world. Yeah. Kind of Barbarian, Scene 54, Godzilla. Gecko's got good taste. Started watching G.I. Joe. It's awesome. Nice. There's also a show called Photon. It's based on a former laser tag. Yep. Photon was like the knockoff laser tag. May the light shine forever. GoBots. GoBots. Yep. What's weird is GoBots are part of Transformers now. Hasbro bought Tonka. So now, and Tonka made GoBots. So now GoBots, well, almost. Tonka licensed Machine Robo from Japan. It made that GoBots. And then Hasbro bought Tonka. So now Hasbro owns GoBots. So GoBots characters are appearing in Transformers now. Um, but they can't use the Machine Robo designs because Machine Robo is still owned by whatever company owns it in Japan. But they are making like modern Machine Robo characters, so you can actually get like really cool versions of like what in GoBots were known as like Leader One and Psykill. You can get like good modern versions of them now under the Machine Robo line. Um, what's your opinion of Motu Revolution? I did not watch Revolution. There was so much negativity around it and so much drama and all this dumb crap that like I don't need to watch it. I don't need to watch it. That's fine. My favorite version of He-Man is the 2002 series. The 2002 He-Man is the bee's knees. It is awesome. It is my favorite version of He-Man, hands down. Is my favorite character designs as well. And in fact, as I said at the beginning of this live stream, for anybody who's watching the whole thing for some reason, um, I was actually a bit like, do I bother getting the Masterverse He-Man and Skeletor, or do I just put in the effort to find the 2002 He-Man and Skeletor? Which at one time I had, and then I got rid of them in a fit of whatever, um, letting go of my childhood or something. Gave them to some family friends who had kids at the time who are now like in like almost university. um, but yeah, um, I think the 2002 series is how you redo a series, right? Where it's good and it adds to the lore in interesting ways. Revolution, too much drama around it. Don't care. Don't want to be part of it. And when there's drama, I hold the makers responsible. I don't hold the fans responsible. I hold the makers responsible for drama. If the makers could just keep their mouths shut and just make a show, then there wouldn't be the drama. But they insist on making drama. So Kevin Smith is to blame for the drama around Revolution. So, yeah. Anyways, that's my opinion on Motu Revolution. um, and why I didn't get the figures first run. Like this is the Revolution Stinkor, but I didn't buy him from the store because I didn't want to encourage it. I got this from again a toy show today for like practically nothing because the guy just wanted to get rid of it because he just wants to focus on vintage stuff. So I will happily take his modern stuff. That is fine. But I think that's the only other. Again, maybe Battle Cat, but that's gonna be it for He-Man, and then I might um, get out the styrofoam and make like a nice sort of display for them, like a nice base, so they look cool, and then I'll be satisfied, and that's it. That collection is done. This is just a few little cool mementos of my childhood, not like a full collection like King Kong is a collection, like Universal Monsters is a collection. Just a couple He-Man figures is fine. GoBots actually came up before Transformers. Yeah, technically he did. But nobody cares because Transformers is awesome. Anybody remember Rock Lords? Yep. I also had the gold one, Nugget, and I had the leader guy as well. Oh, bye, Expose, if you're still here. Bye. Sorry. I find it funny that everybody makes fun of He-Man for being gay, but She-Ra has a girlfriend or Netflix show. I know, right? um, it's just because everybody sees like that sort of 80s scantily clad muscle man as like a gay icon. And that's fine, whatever, it doesn't offend me. And then there's that YouTube video, right? The song. That's fine. I don't mind. Whatever. Um She-Ra, that She-Ra show, I actually gave it a chance. I recognize like, okay, this is a different audience. This is a different style. Well, let's see what they do with it. And I just got bored of it. Like I don't hate it. I was just like I kind of just stopped watching just out of boredom. Um like whatever. Um it's not like Revolution where I'm not watching the show. The She-Ra, modern She-Ra is like, just kind of stopped watching it for no reason, just stopped. Um, what does my wife collect? Fabric. My wife collects fabric. She is less of a collector and more of like a hobbyist. So she does a lot of like historical fashion, a lot of sewing, a lot of historical fashion, a lot of history bounding, which is wearing modern stuff inspired by historical fashion. So that's most of her jam. And then she's always sending me like antique furniture on Facebook Marketplace as well. Which she has told me it's not because she wants me to buy it, it's just because she wants to share it because it looks pretty. I have to remember that. But yeah, she's mostly she mostly does rather than collects. Rock Lords, characters that transform into rocks. Who came up with that? A geologist. Um, I don't think I've ever met a kid that likes to play with rocks. Well, you're not being the right kids, will you? Japan. Did you ever read TMNT 40th anniversary comic? I did not. You know, TMNT. Okay. I I didn't mention this because I think of TMNT. I know it came out in the late 80s, but I really think of it as like a 90s thing. Um, but like I was all in on TMNT. Okay, I didn't mention this before, but like honestly, 80s children's stuff. It's like pre TMNT and post TMNT. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles changed the entire landscape. As soon as TMNT came around, Transformers was out, He-Man was out, everything else was out. It was all about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and knockoffs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was all in on TMNT. I religiously watched the cartoon. I had like every figure. I had as many play sets and things. I had the Turtle Blimp. I had the Turtle Van. I had the Technodrome. I didn't have the Sewer Base. That was like the only thing I didn't have. I had like every action figure. I was all in. I don't have any of that stuff anymore. That is all gone. And I have never felt a need to reclaim that. That is the one that I'm just like, meh. No, like I don't have like positive memories associated with it like I do for Transformers and He-Man. Because Transformers and He-Man, that is like my early childhood. Um, so that is like yeah, early 80s, early to mid 80s is like the He-Man, Transformers, GI Joe, WWF wrestling, um, Captain Power, all that stuff. And then the TMNT, it sort of blends into like late 80s into 90s, which was not a happy part of my life. Um, I was bullied mercilessly in school. Go figure. A giant nerd gets bullied. Um, it didn't affect me as much in the early and mid 80s because I still had friends I had grown up with and stuff like that. But then I moved schools and it hit me hard. Like it was not a happy time. Like uh I don't talk about this very much, but I was like on the verge of self-deletion during that phase. So I do not have really positive associations with Ninja Turtles. Um, even though I was all in on it as a kid. But it those memories blend into a time in my life that was not very positive and I don't care to revisit. And so yeah, I'm just not like at all interested in Ninja Turtles again. Um I mean, I don't know. I might see that Mutant Mayhem movie. Like I see the toys when I go to like Walmart and they kind of look like cool and I recognize all of the characters. But it's just not really a part of my life I really want to revisit. Not like again, like the Transformers and the He-Man and got the Hulkster here, brother. All that sort of stuff. Ninja Turtles just doesn't do that for me. That said, though, I did just win the He-Man and Ninja Turtles Leatherhead figure from Mr. Home Arcade. So, hooray for me! Um, but I want to keep it in the box. That's just happy that I won something. That would be back. That's what I would play with my pappy. Didn't bring me toys for Christmas. Rocks. Hey, I collect rocks. Where's my rocks? Here's a chunk of coal. I literally have a chunk of coal in my drawer right over here. Um, where's my oldest rock in the world? It's here somewhere. Is it down here? Nope. Is it in this one? There it is. This is a piece of the oldest rock in the world. This is called the Acasta Gneiss. It's from Canada. It's about 4.1 billion years old. There you go. So, and this right here, this is a piece of the moon right here. It's a lunar meteorite. It landed in Africa. When did it land? It was found in 2014, but it's a lunar meteorite. So it's a piece of the moon that got knocked off and then came crashing to Earth. So there you go, rocks, fun rocks. That's what I do professionally. That's why I have all these rocks right here. Um, Professionally, I teach about rocks and I do geotourism and stuff. So rocks are awesome. Um, um, that's unfortunate, Papa. My condolences. Okay, I got over it. I always liked She-Ra more than He-Man. I liked them both. Like I said, anything that had a cartoon in the 80s, I was into. Gem. I loved Gem. I still love Gem. Gem is awesome. She-Ra, Rainbow Bright, freaking Care Bears, Strawberry Shortcake, all that stuff. If it had a cartoon in the 80s, I watched it. I didn't care. Gem was awesome. Gem is my favorite girl cartoon. And then She-Ra. Um, Sometimes my wife and I still watch like the odd episode of Gem, just because Gem is awesome. Um, Remember when they made a video where He-Man sang? Yes, you're talking like the YouTube video. Yeah, season 4 is really good. Do you watch the Atomic Snack Bar? He's like you but a stoner. No, I have not seen Atomic Snack Bar. It was really funny. Nerds are cool now. No, they're not. Okay, here's the thing. Being like, oh my god, a geek, that is cool now. Being a consumer geek is cool. Geek is a marketing category. um Geek is like Big Bang Theory minstrel show. Being a cool geek, right? That is cool. Being an actual geek, like an actual nerd who is like uncomfortably into nerdy things, like you're into Warhammer or King Kong or whatever. There's a cartoon of a comic I saw one time, like this like guy with pimples. He's like, everybody thinks it's cool to be a geek until I pull out my unironic Garfield plush collection. Like, yeah, nobody likes actual nerds. And they still don't like actual nerds, except now the bullying has changed. So now, instead of getting bullied because I like Star Trek, I get bullied by Star Trek. Instead of getting bullied for liking Star Wars, I get bullied by Star Wars. You know, that actress from The Acolyte put out that diss track and that video now complaining about Star Wars fans. Like, yeah, that's what you get now. Is the franchise itself is now bullying you, and actual nerds get called like incel and racist and all sorts of isms and ismphobes and things like that. Yeah, no, it's still not cool to be a nerd, be an actual nerd. Being a consumer geek is fine, but not being an actual nerd. What's my favorite Halloween special? um, Always and forever, my favorite Halloween stuff will be Disney. So when I was a kid, Wonderful World of Disney, there was a show, Disney's Greatest Villains, hosted by Hans Conried, so the voice of Captain Hook, as the Magic Mirror, and he would show these clips of Disney villains. And that would lead up to Night on Bald Mountain and Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And then I would go out for trick or treating. That is my Halloween. That is still my Halloween. To this day, I will watch Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Night on Bald Mountain, either on or before Halloween. Lonesome Ghosts, the cartoon, Trick or Treat, the cartoon, Donald Duck, and clips from this Disney's Greatest Villains on YouTube. That is always and forever will be the best Halloween for me. That is very much tied with Disney, and for as critical as I am of Disney now, and as much post Disney fan as I am now, I still love what I have loved about Disney, and my Halloween is like always Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Night of Bald Mountain, Disney's Greatest Villains, Lonesome Ghosts, Trick or Treat. Didn't like what they did with Ninja Turtles recently. Mutant Mayhem is lost it. Where'd it go? Is actually pretty cool. It's a shame Hulk Hogan is a Trump supporter. Okay, as I said when I unboxed this at the beginning of the live stream, Hulk Hogan is a live action cartoon character from my childhood. And I know he did a lot of shady stuff in the wrestling business. And I know he was at the RNC. And I know that he is said on camera, caught on camera, saying some inappropriate things. I understand all that. I don't care. He is still this live action cartoon character from my childhood. And so that is why when Walmart had this Hulk figure for $10, I'm like, okay, sold. I will buy that and put him beside Sergeant Slaughter, my G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughter figure. Um, the two Michael Bay movies were god awful. Yes. Okay, I'm back. Had to do something. Welcome back, Expose. Charlie Brown would always get a rock whenever he went trick or treating on Halloween. Apparently, there are some mean adults out there. Okay, there is a meme out there. This story somebody told about where they did this like thing on Halloween where they offer kids either candy or a potato, and then one of the kids like chose the potato. They were not expecting it, and then eventually like more people heard about the potato and kept choosing the potato, and they ran out of potatoes and they had to get more potatoes because everyone wanted to go to the potato house and get a potato. I was like, what on earth? I love rocks. My favorite Hannah is the Styracosaurus. If they were talking non-fossils, probably obsidian. Cool. Charlie Brown had a similar childhood to myself, Buck. I'm a nerd, not a geek, and most people think I'm crazy when I talk about silent films. Yeah. Yeah, the nerd, geek, dweeb, dork. Like those different categories. Yeah, I am a nerd, not a geek. Um, again, like thinking like geek as like consumer geek. I am not that. I think being a true fan, being a consumer geek, is rather shameful at this point. And how much abuse can you deal with from the media? That is, they're supposed to be earning your money, and instead they're insulting you. I am a nerd. I am a nerd for King Kong. I am a nerd for classic movies. I am a nerd for the odd 80s toys and things like that. I'm a nerd for geology. Um, I am not a consumer geek. You ever notice how much toxic fandom there is right now? Where are all those people coming from? Yeah. The fandom is not toxic. The people who make the movies are toxic. This is where I'm gonna like get controversial. Um, no, I think that the people who make these things should shut up and just make the movies. And if what they make is bad, they should suck it up and deal with it instead of attacking the fans. I do not have respect for media or musicians or whatever who insult their fans instead of appreciating their fans. And these people provoke it. These people who make these things provoke these reactions. And the toxic fandom is a reaction to toxic filmmakers. So it's less like nerds are cool and more like we're just now more common. I actually have an unironic Garfield plush collection. Nice. Yeah, actual nerds are not popular. It's consumer geeks that are popular. It's pushed back to the feminization of boys. Well, there is that aspect as well. Everything has to be made for girls now, as opposed to, well, girls have always enjoyed boy stuff, right? Like, I've always known girls who liked He-Man and Transformers and Star Wars and things like that. It's just now like you have that whole thing of like, no, it has to be made for girls, and it has to not just empower girls, but it also has to demean boys. And then if you call that out, they call you an incel and whatever else, right? And it's like, can't we just have strong characters of all genders? Um, and gender identities and sexualities? Can't we just have strong, well-written characters from all of them without having to demean each other? But still a fan of Hulk Hogan? Sure, Hulk fan for life. I have a soft spot for Hulk Hogan and Chuck Norris. No Holds Barred is one of my favorite movies. Nice. Where were we here? Me too. Potatoes are great. I can't eat them though because I'm on a diet. Fair enough. Nothing beats spinach. I'm a nerd, geek, and dork. I will take anything but dweeb. Potatoes are my favorite. Yeah, I was made fun of for liking Godzilla and collecting comics, but we had classic video club in my school, and I made a few friends over black and white horror movies like Frankenstein, Dracula. Yeah, nice. Um, oh yeah, no, I was mercilessly bullied and made fun of as a kid over everything. I made the mistake one time of talking to the closest things I had for friends in high school, junior high. about this awesome Star Trek convention I went to over the weekend, and that became ammunition. Um, which is what it is. But hey, now I just have to like watch Star Trek, and it makes fun of me. So whatever. They came from the internet and nepotism. Get controversial. Yep. The lead actress and acolyte blame the fans for the show being canceled. Yeah, no, blame the people who didn't watch the show. Then I'm glad the show was canceled. Yep. Oh yeah. Question: Timothy Chalamet overrated or way overrated? Timothy Chalamet is a very pretty man. The solution: make all characters non-binary. An arrow ace. You can't discriminate against nothing. I say as an arrow who has been discriminated against. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing about that. Actually, my wife and I were just talking about this. Um, is that Rings, like, okay, Lord of the Rings is like an asexual story. Yeah, there's like Aragorn and what's her face? Liv Tyler. Um, but it's not a romance, right? It's about male camaraderie, a lot of it, in the fight against ultimate evil. It's a war movie. Um, and then along comes Rings of Power, and it wants to turn Lord of the Rings into Game of Thrones. And my wife, because my wife is like the big Lord of the Rings fan. Like I'm okay, it's okay. The books are okay. I don't like the movies because I don't like Peter Jackson, but um, the concept is fine. And we listened to the audiobooks. My wife made me listen to the audiobooks, so the books are great. Um, but it's like, yeah, my wife, she knew that Rings of Power would be dog shit when she heard that they hired an intimacy coach to help the actors in Rings of Power. And she's like, "Why do you need an intimacy coach in Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings isn't about that." Um, so that's when she knew it would be dog shit, and sure enough, it is. Um, because yeah, it's not about sexy times. That's not what Lord of the Rings is about. And Lord of the Rings is asexual. It's not about that. It's about male camaraderie and war and morals and the fight between good and evil and all that sort of stuff. Old Star Trek is awesome. Couldn't finish Willy Wonka. I made the mistake of talking about silent films to popular kids. Help. Yeah, I'm sorry, Expose. I am sorry. I thought the original Dune was better than the new one. At least Zendaya wasn't in it. I actually liked the new Dune. Um, as I'm pretty nonplussed with modern films, I actually liked Dune Part 1 and 2. The only thing I didn't like was Zendaya. Because every time she was on the screen, it was just like the Marge Simpson. Like she was so angry. And I started laughing by the end of Dune 2. I started laughing whenever she was on screen because she was always just like, I don't approve. So, um, but otherwise, I actually thought they were good movies. I think Denis Villeneuve is a good director, very very visually appealing director. Um, so I thought they were fine. Um, good style, epic scale. I thought they were good. Um, we'll see if they do Dune Part 3, how that turns out. Because you can't really leave it on. You can't leave it where it is right now and have the story fully understood because it still comes off like a hero's story, which it is not. Dune is not a hero story. Dune is a critique of hero stories. So it's a big deal that Paul Moadib is going to lead this jihad that's going to kill billions of people. Um, and then his kids are going to become, well, one of them's going to become a slug. So that matters. So they have to do a Dune Part 3 to finish that story so that you properly understand the story. Um, I think I'm just becoming the silent film nerd on this channel, a silent monster kid. No, it's all good. It's all good. Silent movies are awesome. I mean, I should get around to doing The Lost World, like why The Lost World is so great, because I actually have been a Lost World fan and expert for longer than a Kong one. Um, I should get around to doing that eventually at some point. Um, yeah, no, silent movies are good. Silent movies are fine. It's okay. It's okay. I like silent films. Metropolis is one of my favorites. Um, sorry, the way that my system works for scrolling through things sometimes it jumps to the bottom. I like Lord of the Rings more, but my dad's life-size replica of Sting almost killed my dog. She's fine, by the way, but almost fell on her once. No! Oh no. Poor dog. I love OG Star Trek, but it kind of killed Ray Gun Gothic. Yeah, that's true. Um, that's why Forbidden Planet is so good. It's like Star Trek, but like Ray Gun Gothic, mid-century atomic sci-fi um, version of it. More so, it's more so like a 50s Star Trek as opposed to a 60s Star Trek. Um, my second favorite film behind 1933 King Kong is Kevin After Calgary. Good choice. Sting with the butterfly speed. Not that Sting. A different Sting. I don't care for Dune because it tries to act like it isn't about space wizards. The Lost World win of King Kong, correct? Yes, do a Lost Long 25 video, please. Would watch it all the time. Yeah, we'll see. Um, right now, I will have more time after September. Things have been kind of dead on my channel because I've been so busy. Like you guys don't understand how busy I have been. Um, that I've been able to just do these like offhand videos on like Disney, how Disney fans have a toxic positivity problem, um, and like that Godzilla quiz trivia that had no traction. Um, that's just because I could whip those off in like a half hour. Um, the actual videos that take time and planning and stuff, I just do not have time to work on them right now. I am too busy with tour guiding and my day job and stuff like that. So that is not going to get any better until the end of September. Um, just because I'm still busy. My tour guiding ends in September, and my day job right now ends tomorrow. Actually, is my last day. My contract ends. So clears up a bit in September, but I won't really be good to go until October. And actually, then we're hoping that maybe to take a trip, either a road trip or to Japan. So we'll see. But the point is like come like autumn, winter, I will probably have much more time, and I'll be able to work on more videos. So like, what's so great about the Lost World? Why the Lost World is so great would be one of them. Um, continue my RKO series. Like I'm working on the Dick Tracy one. It's just again sitting down and having time to do it. And then there's more I want to do. More Universal. Why X Universal movies are so great. That sort of thing. I still want to do those. It's just time right now. So um, yeah, that's the rundown of what's going on. It's just I am so busy right now that the last thing I want to do is spend time writing up videos and filming and editing and all that sort of stuff for nothing. I get no money off of this. I think I got like one time deposit of $75. That's all I've ever made off this channel. Leslie Nielsen was in Forbidden Planet, correct? Do you like Stargate the movie? It's been forever since I've seen it. My wife likes it because she likes anything Egyptian, and it's kind of like the linguist is the hero, so she kind of likes that. Um, but I don't have any particular feelings about Stargate. I'd love a Lost World video. I'm also realizing I haven't asked this to you since you're a paleontologist. What's your favorite dinosaur? Mine's Spinosaurus. Fair enough. Favorite dinosaur? I used to say like Utah Raptor, like instant answer. Not so sure anymore. One that I really like is Pachyrhinosaurus, which is get over here, you. Is this guy? It's Pachyrhinosaurus. So ceratopsian, but instead of a horn, it's got a nasal boss. So this one's found here in Alberta. See, I'm more of like I'm more interested in ecosystems than individual prehistoric animals necessarily. So it's hard for me to say like this is my favorite prehistoric animal. Um, I mean, I guess my favorite prehistoric animal overall are woolly mammoths, but I'm more interested in the ecosystem. So it's not so much about like the woolly mammoth itself as how does it relate to its environment? What are the other animals it shares this environment with, and how do they all interact? That sort of thing. So I would say Pachyrhinosaurus is my favorite dinosaur right now, maybe. But for me, it's more like what was Pachyrhinosaurus' environment? But it's kind of a cool dinosaur. I like it. It's kind of cool as a ceratopsian. So that is probably, I would say, my favorite right at this particular moment in my life. It'll always change. Sharky TV shows better than the movie? Sure. Gotta make money to pay the bills. Yep. My favorite dinosaur. Yeah, see, I don't. I was just thinking about this today because there's another YouTuber I was watching where she talks about. She was talking. People are calling her a grifter, and she's like, "Well, no, but this is my job. Like, my job is YouTube. This is how I make my money." Um, so it's like, yeah, this is not my money. This is not my job. I don't treat this like a job. I treat this like a hobby. Um, yeah, I want to talk about cool things and things I think are cool. I think other people should learn about. That's why I do this. I made all of like $75 off of this. I even tried to do like channel memberships and nothing. Like nobody signed up for channel memberships. So I took that down. It's like, okay, obviously, nobody wants to pay for what I'm doing, which is fine. I don't mind. Um, but it just means like, okay, it's lower priority now. I'm not going to make time to do this when I'm busy making actual money, because it's obviously not important enough to other people either to want to pay for me to do it. So when I have time, as opposed to I make a point of doing it. My favorite dinosaur is Brontosaurus. Oh, OBS Studio disconnected, reconnecting. Am I still on? Okay, hopefully I'm still on. Hopefully that didn't interrupt anything. Favorite dinosaur is Brontosaurus because it's super complicated paleontological history. Yeah, and Brontosaurus is back as well. Brontosaurus is a legitimate genus. Will we get why Bela Lugosi meets the Brooklyn Gorilla is so great? Yes, Rex. Eventually, we will get a Bela Lugosi meets the Brooklyn Gorilla. Also, because it was in King Kong and Lost World. Yeah. Why was Bronto in King Kong so vicious? Because everything in King Kong is so vicious. There is a subtext in King Kong of Kong is a product of his environment, and Skull Island is the way it is because it is so vicious. Skull Island is full of crazed man-eating dinosaurs. Even the plant eaters are man-eaters. Just wantonly attack everybody. So Skull Island is such a harsh environment, so Kong is even that much harsher. Because he has to be. Hippos are herbivores and they are vicious. Yes, hippos are terrifying. Hippos are the most dangerous animal in Africa. Not counting humans and mosquitoes, because they carry malaria. I love Pachyrhinosaurus. They're my second favorite ceratopsian just behind Styracosaurus. I'm glad you didn't say T-Rex. As a T-Rex myself, I'm tired of our typecasting. Well, there you go. I mean, I do like T-Rexes. They are awesome. But, yeah, they're not like my most favorite. It's not that I don't want to pay, it's that I'm broke. Who spends their money on comics, DVDs the second I get my hands on money. No, that's fine. I don't mind that nobody pays me to do this. That's okay. I'm not owed anybody's money. I don't feel like I am, so I don't feel obligated. I just it just tells me where I stand, right? Which is fine. Just means I won't I won't make this a priority. I will do this when I have time to do this. I will not do this. I will not make time to do this. Is it true that dinosaurs had two brains? No. They did have like a neural cluster in their like base of their spine. Like Stegosaurus had that, especially. That's what actually Stegosaurus is like known as, like dinosaur with two brains. It doesn't have two brains. It had a neural cluster in the base of its spine, which is just to help it, manage the back end of itself. We didn't have two brains. It only had one brain. Jerry Lewis and Broken Gorilla was dead on. We are cool, but like my uncle is an actor who studied Shakespeare, and the only lines he ever gets is roaring. Yeah, Rex, I want to hear like your family's life story as a group of T-Rexes trying to fight stereotyping and typecasting in Hollywood. I said your parents are cool. I didn't know your parents were actual T-Rexes, so that makes them even cooler now. I'm even out here 3.5 hours. Good lord, not bad for a live stream that was just originally toys and playing some Battle Line. Sorry, just checking my text messages here. Uh-oh. Is this where I dropped the stream? Nobody's saying anything. Still says I'm streaming. But I'm not seeing anybody. Uh-oh. Did it drop the stream? Just gonna check here. Oh, there we go. There's somebody. Good. Thought I dropped the stream. No, still says I'm live. That's good. Okay. Murders in the Rue Morgue is a dollar store King Kong. Kind of. Certainly one of the more interesting Universal movies. Bit out there, but good. Not as good as The Black Cat, but still good. Most of us are actors in documentaries. My great grandpa was in King Kong. Well, a while back, an image of his time in World War One got popular on Reddit. 1932 film. That's awesome. Your great grandpa is fantastic. I wish I could get an autograph from him, but I know it's hard with the small arms to do that. So I understand if there aren't a lot of autographs out there. Their Gumpo story is great. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the film is just like in name only, right? Same as the Black Cat, especially the Black Cat is in name only. Um, they went to Poe to do Poe movies, but then it's like they're not really Poe. At least the Raven, it was like, it began with the premise of the Bela Lugosi is a fan of Poe and is basing his tortures on Poe. Like that's sort of an homage to Poe, as opposed to just taking the name and putting it on a different story altogether. But yeah, Murder's Room Morgue. I mean, it's dudes draining the blood of prostitutes and replacing it with gorilla blood and stuff. Like it's pretty intense. That movie. But yeah. Well, I think seems like things are dropping off a bit here. I am just gonna check participants. Looks like there's 3 of you guys here right now. And it is 10 o'clock, and I do have work tomorrow. I've been at this for 3.5 hours now. Oh, so far the best win for representation was Theodore Rex, where we had dialogue, but that film was shit. The first member of our family to be a writer. I got some grabbers so I can reach the keyboard. This is awesome, Rex. This is awesome. I think Chad's very silent. Yeah, I think it's because we're down to like 3 of you guys and me. Rex, I am loving this story. This is making my night right here. But I think for now, I am going to probably sign off. Just because I have to work tomorrow. And it is late. We've had this for a while. I am loving this story, Rex. You are my new hero. This is awesome. And I think that your people, your family, are such a strong story of fighting adversity and seeking representation in Hollywood and struggling against typecasting and everything. And I'm really impressed by your family, and I'm really inspired by them. Uh, we also start a petition to ban if you're happy and you know it, because most of us can't clap. Sorry. Now it's getting late. I'm losing my mind. Okay, so I'm going to bid you all adieu. Thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight, and awesome conversation. Conversation was better than playing the game. So thank you very much. Have a good night. Enjoy work. Thanks for your kind words. Please sign a petition. Yes. Yes. If you're happy and you know it, you don't need to clap. It's okay. You can just tell us. Um, so, night all, and we'll see you sometime next month. We'll see if we'll do the proper live stream, which is supposed to be EC Comics, Tales from the Crypt, or if we'll just do another one of these. We'll see how it goes. But for now, thank you very much, and signing off. See ya.